Now, from your trusted team of meteorologists at Panhandle Weather, this is a severe weather update.
And a good afternoon, meteorologist Chris Smith here in the Panhandle Weather Studios, tracking a line of severe storms now making its way through the western part of the Panhandle, extending from Walton County through Okaloosa County and back over into Santa Rosa County this afternoon. Meteorologist Dan Nyman over in Panama City right now, keeping an eye on things over there and driving the show. We appreciate you joining us as always, as severe weather threat today across our area, and we have our first thunderstorm warning. Thankfully, no tornado warnings yet.
We've seen things kind of generally for the Panhandle, at least on the weaker side so far, kind of thunderstorms. But I think that window now, that 1 to 4 o'clock window, where I was kind of expecting yesterday to see this line of thunderstorms kind of organize and consolidate, and that'll be the most optimal time for them to produce some of the weather we've been seeing here, with the Storm Prediction Center putting out that slight risk for severe weather, and then of course the tornado watch being issued a bit earlier on today. This is kind of right now into the time frame where I think these storms are going to produce the most punch as they slide eastward across the Panhandle. By the time they get east of 231, we'll see if they can kind of maintain a pretty fast forward speed, maybe a little stronger east of 231, but we should see a downward trend as they get further east later tonight.
Yeah, I was just looking real quick here, pulling up some, wanting to get some weather stem cameras in here so that way we can keep an eye on those as well this afternoon. But yeah, that line, we had a 52 knot wind gust just north of, let's see, it was over like just north, like near Florala. We had a 52 knot gust. That's why they issued that thunderstorm warning for like northern Walton County and then up into Alabama. So if we zoom in on live Doppler radar, it was right up here is where right there, Florala at the airport there, they had that 52 knot wind gust as it moved through. And then now that extends that line, now moving into Walton County, extending over towards Crestview, which is what I was trying to end up pulling up here, was maybe take a look at some of those cameras over in Crestview this afternoon.
So currently, of course, we have that one fairly new severe thunderstorm warning that was dropped just a few moments ago. That is for Holmes County and Walton County right now. Hail, not really an issue. It's mainly straight line winds we're watching for here, and they'll be kind of inconsistent, as are all of the winds across the Panhandle. I see from time to time here at my house in Springfield, we've had some pretty strong wind gusts, and then things will quiet down for 10 or 15 minutes. But wind inside and outside of thunderstorms today will be something you notice pretty much all the way through 5 or 6 o'clock this evening. But there you'll see that storm working its way basically in along I-10 right now. And as we take this picture out just a small amount here, you'll see that severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of the Wiregrass region as well. You're not seeing a whole lot of lightning within this, but certainly is kind of converting and consolidating into what is more of a wind-driven thunderstorm. And that'll be something else to watch for here tonight, Chris. This kind of pertaining to the tornado threat for the Panhandle. At what point do you see this storm system, this QLCS, start chasing an outflow boundary and become almost entirely wind driven? Because at that point, I think we'll be pretty much done with the tornado threat here in the Panhandle.
Yeah, and anything that we see as far as rotation is going to probably end up, in this line before we see that outflow boundary develop. And these are going to be, if we see a tornado, it's going to be very small, very brief. Most likely. This isn't going to be like January 2 years ago. I had folks asking about that. It's still a relatively low-end tornado threat across northwest Florida as we see that line continuing to move through Crestview and back over into Fort Walton Beach. We can pull up the camera there in Destin this afternoon, and you can see kind of how dark it looks there off over into the distance. You see visibility is not very good either right now. There's a ton of moisture just getting blown in from the south. A little while ago, I posted a video. I went down to the beach just to kind of check on things and see how things were. Last chance in short sleeves to go down to the beach for a while. But I wanted to check out the wind. But the thing that I noted was as you look down from Inlet Beach towards like Santa Rosa Beach, that area, Destin, you couldn't see. Visibility wasn't much more than a couple miles as you look off towards the west, and that's the case right now over into Destin. If you look at the palm trees here, it's really, really windy right now. Winds are, sustained winds are getting up there close to 20 miles an hour, and we're seeing gusts that are even higher than that right now. So that's the way things are looking back over into Destin. As we look at that line, it's crossing over from Santa Rosa County and on into Okaloosa County right now, and should be moving over into Destin here within about the next 30 minutes or so. So we'll continue to kind of go back and forth. Yeah, these are the wind gusts that we're looking at right now. So not sustained, but these are gusts. And the gusts, I expect we're going to see numbers here close to 30 miles an hour across our area. Look at that, even 40, 35. So yeah, winds are howling right now out in front of this. These are non-thunderstorm winds as well. Sandy.
But you'll notice, Chris, inside of those thunderstorms, you do have a couple of spots, like looking over the Eglin Range right now in excess of 40 miles per hour. So there's your special weather statement kind of verifying. And we're not seeing actually as strong of a wind right now inside of the severe warned storm as far as the Florida Panhandle is concerned. But a little further towards the north into the Wiregrass region, I do think we're seeing some slightly higher wind gusts as well. So that'll be something that continues to be of concern for folks, as it's just a bit unsettling to listen to outside.
But now, ironically, it's going to be windy on the backside of this front, but it's going to be nowhere near as windy. But those winds are going to be strong out of the northwest, and that will be that cold air that will be coming in that you're going to notice tomorrow morning. But when you go to bed tonight, it's still going to feel fairly comfortable across our area. As we look at storm track for this cell that's moving through northern Walton County, movement is a little bit, the line is moving east at 35 miles an hour. The individual cells are moving up to the north and east. But as we look at these storms as they continue to make their way, we could probably do a squall track on that at about 35 miles an hour. And you see the difference between the winds moving toward and away from the radar right now over into Pensacola. And I think, yeah, we have EVX on. So, yep, 35 miles an hour. So that's going to put it near Mossy Head at 119. Scranton at 124, Darlington there in northern Walton County at 130, Alpine Heights at 135. Just to kind of give you an idea here, in the next few minutes, we'll see this storm approaching the Mossy Head area.
Yeah, we've seen slight increases in the amount of lightning being produced by this storm. So you have a slight strengthening in the updrafts within that thunderstorm, which is a sign of maturing and strengthening. So you definitely want to hunker down here as you get into Defuniak Springs or up through northern Walton County, and then down the road as you get into parts of the Wiregrass region southwest of Dothan, and of course western Holmes County as well for this first of perhaps several severe thunderstorm warnings on the day for Northwest Florida. It's already breezy outside of the storms, as Deanna mentions, Chris. And Chipley, it's windy. Bluntstown, windy, I've seen. Some folks mentioning Mariana. And, of course, the rain really coming down in Gaskin, north of Defuniak, says Marcia. And we can see that here. Your rainfall rates are pretty intense, especially given how quiet there's with respect to severe weather and thunderstorms as of late. This is a little bit of a wake-up call here. Rainfall rates right now dropping down pretty significantly across the inside of that thunderstorm at the moment. That's moving across 331 right now. The worst of the weather is all entirely north of I-10 at the moment. Crestview, though, not severe warned, but still picking up on some lightning out there as well behind this severe warm storm. And this is all still moving northeastward. So the line itself kind of going to present itself as sliding east throughout the afternoon. Each individual storm moves towards the northeast. And as that happens, we will see this kind of take its time stepping through the Panhandle. Right now, it's just after 1. We're seeing it in Walton, Okaloosa counties. I've seen some folks asking about Mariana, Bluntstown. That's closer to 4 o'clock, Chris. And if you're down towards the Forgotten Coast, it might not be until after the sun sets here this evening before the skies darken and the thunderstorms arrive.
Yeah, this is what it looks like right now over in Mossy Head. So the line is about ready to, well, it is raining there right now. But you can see that camera, and it's not like elevated up high. You don't see this camera get bounced around very much, and it's definitely getting bounced around right now as it looks off. This is a southwest view, so we're looking to the south and west over at the Mossy Head School. This is the weather stem camera there over in Walton County. So this is what's going to be moving in here very shortly over into Defuniak Springs here in just a little bit. And this is the one Dan was doing the storm track on. So the winds are definitely howling right now over into over in Mossy Head. And if you look real carefully, there you can see that's the line. So it's just now starting to precipitate there. If we go back over into no one's going to be golfing right now, but we'll go to the Eagle Springs Golf Club and try and pull up that camera and take a look at what it looks like right now. So this is just a little bit east of there. Let's see. There we go. There's the live stream. So you can see it. Look at the trees. Look how much the trees are getting blown around. So again, this is a little bit farther away from that line, but it gives you an idea of just how windy it is. And those winds that Dan was pulling up that were showing in excess of 30 to 40 miles per hour, those were wind gusts out in front of that squall line as it makes its way toward makes its way through Walton County, now across the northern half of the county. As far as where the storms are, someone was asking about Santa Rosa Beach and the southern part of that. You're still, the storms aren't even into Destin, but you're probably, in the next 30, 45 minutes, probably is when we'll be looking at that line moving into the Santa Rosa Beach area. There's a fair amount of lightning in that line. Now, some of it, the bulk of it is actually up into parts of Alabama where we've seen some severe weather this afternoon up just north of Dothan. But still in that view, which does include kind of above the banner and then also the squall line moving through our area, 260 now lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. But you can kind of see there's a good chunk of those that are up just north of our area. Let's see, move. We can go look at Niceville's, at the high school in Niceville. This is what it looks like right now. You can see the squall line is getting pretty close. If you look real carefully, you can see how quickly the clouds are moving by. And if you look at the bottom, you can see the light poles and everything. But this is kind of looking a little more skyward, and it's a little more difficult to kind of see anything. You don't have anything in the foreground really to give you any perspective as far as just in how windy it is in comparison to up at Eagle Springs Golf Club there, where you can kind of see the grass and the trees and all that stuff blowing around a little bit more briskly. But that's what it looks like right now. There's you can see it's now starting to rain up there, so you're getting some raindrops in at the golf club there, and then the wind obviously continuing to blow quite strong.
One of the things that I was noticing, Chris, is obviously we have a tornado watch in effect, but right now, if you were to look just basically at the presentation of our shear product, what's inside of this thunderstorm with respect to the type of wind that we're seeing, at the moment it's a whole lot of straight line winds, which was kind of to be expected. I'll pull this over here. This is our rotation detector. We normally use it to pinpoint things like straight line or rotation in the storms, little dots basically of your greens, reds, and we'll try to get a zoom in on that here. Normally you'd see a couple of dots, and that would be a spot where the storm is rotating. A rotating thunderstorm would be present as we lose our feed here for just a second. But obviously, you might have noticed there a second ago, it's really elongated and stretched out. So we're seeing a lot of good straight line winds from within this thunderstorm as it slides up towards the north and east. Look towards the south side of that, Chris, though. Just a little more presentation there as you get along 331 northwest of Defuniak Springs. Perhaps maybe a little bit of embedded rotation trying to be present, and that'll certainly be one aspect of this thunderstorm we have to watch as it gets up towards Geneva. And right on cue, Chris, looks like I called that one shortly beforehand. We have our first tornado warning issued right there, that red polygon just popping up north side of Defuniak Springs and stretching along I-10 into southwestern Holmes County. And again, that is because of this slight difference in shape that you're seeing. It's almost like an S shape in the shear product, and that right there was the kind of thing that caught my eye and said, hey, we might be able to see some spin inside of this thunderstorm.
Okay.
So we'll look right now back at the velocity imagery, and you'll see there's just a small amount of notching here on the velocity product. And we're going to have to zoom way in on it to see it. It's crossing over 331 right now with the last radar scan. Keep in mind that's late, so it might be a little northeast of this at the moment. But you just have a small amount right here of your greens and reds wrapping in on one another. So it's a tight couplet, probably a quick spin up, as you often get embedded in these lines of thunderstorms, but it is something we're going to have to watch into this direction over the next several minutes as things tighten up here and definitely present a sign of rotation right there. So we'll get a storm track on that out for about 28 minutes. 1:26 Central Time now. So for Pleasant Grove, you have 1:41 p.m. here. So it's an amount of time to find that safe space inside of your home. And of course, Chris, there's also the kind of parts of Ponce de Leon and Defuniak Springs included in that polygon too. Although I don't want to go against the National Weather Service. It would be more likely that this would continue kind of in that easterly or slightly north of easterly direction given the storm motion right now.
Yeah, I was just trying to pull up the cameras again. I have a camera at Walton High School and then also over at Eagle Springs Golf Club there, Walton is just a little bit north of Defuniak Springs, and then Eagle Springs is kind of a little bit more east of or west of Defuniak Springs. So I don't know if I'd be able to see anything from there, but we're going to keep a close eye on those cameras. But if you're in that area, especially on the north side of Defuniak Springs, go ahead and seek shelter right now. Lowest interior room of your home. Hallway, bathroom, closet is going to be the safest place. This is probably going to be, if it is producing a tornado, it's going to be a brief spin up. Hopefully, we can get, hopefully we'll have someone out there that will be able to report back as to whether it is producing it. But as Dan was mentioning, definitely you could see there's a little bit of shear associated with it. And if you look real carefully there, it definitely seemed like it was a little bit more east than, say, east-southeast, which would be good news as far as what Dan was mentioning, that, it'll pass north of Defuniak Springs and not necessarily pass directly through it. But just in particular, you see Sunrise Road, Center Ridge, Piney Grove, 83 there. Go ahead and get to your safe place. It just crossed over 331, and it's moving over towards 83 right now, just north of Defuniak Springs.
Yeah, it's heading right this road right now with Center Ridge, Union, Pleasant Grove. I would include within that, as well as Engle Road and Line Road in northern Walton County right now. The red and green you're seeing right there is our in-house Barron model shear product. It's detecting the shear embedded within this line of thunderstorms. It's actually a little easier to see, although a little larger, where that rotation is present compared to, say, looking at storm relative velocity or actual velocity products here, where you get that mess of greens and reds. So I think we'll stick with it. Just kind of taking a look at this shear rate product, where more than likely here we have at least a funnel cloud probably tightening up here as this continues to move. Newest scan just came in. Looks like they switched the radar over, Chris, into that higher rate of producing scans here. We're like minute by minute now as this moves up towards 83 and potentially elongating out once again. Let's check out correlation coefficient, make sure we can't see any debris being lofted, because I haven't heard any reports from any of our folks on the ground yet as far as whether or not there was a sighting of an actual tornado being produced.
So up in, let's see, it was from Coffee County in Alabama. They're going to go check out a property in Elba for a possible tornado damage. But they have a lot of trees down across the county, but they haven't had any other reports other than this one property. So we'll see. But that was, up in Coffee County, Alabama, just north of here, not associated with this cell in particular. But whether it's producing a tornado or not, the winds are just going to be screaming through there. We already had a 52-knot wind gust up in Florida, just across the border. So I would say anything along this line is going to be capable of producing winds in excess, of almost 60 miles per hour, which is going to cause damage. So, whether it's a EF1 or EF0 tornado is kind of immaterial. It's damaging weather crossing Highway 83 just north of Defuniak Springs that you can see with our rotation detector product there over northern Walton County. And that warning is until, how much longer do we have on that? It's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. Here, I can look it up. It goes until 2 o'clock. Yep. So until 2 o'clock, so another 30 minutes over northern Walton County. Be watching this, especially Ponce de Leon north, Union, Pleasant Grove, Center Ridge, all need to be taking shelter right now. Lowest interior room of your home, all the way a bathroom, closet. And again, this is moving kind of east at close to 30 miles per hour. That's going to put it at Pleasant Grove at 140, Hudson at 154, and Hickory Hill at 159, Bounds Crossing at 2 o'clock. So, and that would be kind of in that area just north of Ponce de Leon. So technically Ponce de Leon's in the tornado warning, but we're going to watch this because it definitely is trending a little bit more east, and the polygon is kind of drawn a little bit more east, southeast right now.
You'll see here now our polygon is flashing. I just put this in this morning, Chris, just in case. And it's now flashing because there is a confirmed tornado. So a useful extra little tool here we have at Panhandle Weather. The National Weather Service has now said it was an observed tornado that was on the ground, produced some damage, and there was some radar indicated damage there as well. So you'll see the flashing red tornado warning polygon here on the channel when it goes from something that's radar indicated that we're watching to something that could actually be on the ground. So this has kind of elevated the concern level a bit here for our friends living on in Center Ridge, Pleasant Grove there, just to the east of 83, north of I-10 and 90 as you get into northern Walton County. Those are locations where right now you'll see this tornado potentially still on the ground. We're expecting quick spin-ups here, but now your respect level for this storm has to go up,
Yeah.
up until the point that we said, hey, this is completely shut out and no longer a concern because we have history of it producing something right there in northern Walton County. And that's, again, just east of 83. We pointed out some of the roads, and you can see some times on the left side of the screen, like as you get into Union at 142. We're stretching in right now, probably right over Center Ridge with the next scan. A little bit away from the radar here, Chris, but we're getting a pretty good presentation of what this thing's doing with some of these products. And I think we had a little correlation coefficient drop there, Chris. And you'll see with our shear product, our rotation detector, you have this big ball basically of shear. The red color's strong rotation. That's going to be the spot where we're most likely seeing a tornado on the ground, potentially right above or just south of Center Ridge there, right along Coy Ellis Road. This is probably 5 to 10 miles north of Defuniak Springs at the moment.
Yeah, the Weather Service said at 1:30 a confirmed tornado was located near Defuniak Springs, obviously just north of Defuniak Springs. It's moving east at 45 miles an hour. So as Dan was mentioning, when that product there started flashing, that indicates now an update to that it's a confirmed tornado crossing, just crossed over Highway 83. So if you're, along 331 or 83, you're on the backside of that tornado. So, you're okay. But if you are just east of 83 in northern Walton County, in particular, how many miles is that just north of Defuniak? It's not but a few miles north. Okay, so it's 5 miles north of Defuniak Springs. So kind of giving that as you move off to the east over towards 81, it's 8 miles away from 81 there. And 81 runs from Red Bay, where the radar is, through Ponce de Leon, and then points north there. So again, 5 miles north of Defuniak Springs and 8 miles away from 83. Possible tornado moving east at 45 miles per hour per the last update from the National Weather Service. Again, a confirmed tornado. Let's see, ham radio, okay, North Daleville Avenue in Daleville. This is up in Alabama. They had the All-In Credit Union sign was blown over. So
that's what I wanted to point out here, Chris. We're seeing a lot of noise right now. This is the debris detector, basically looking for irregularities in the air. Your red colors here, raindrops, things that are supposed to be there. And as you get down the scale towards some of the other colors, that's things that are not supposed to be in the sky based on the radar returns. I think right around 1:30 here, our time is going to be a little off there at the top of the screen. But you'll see that was probably your correlation coefficient drop there, Chris, kind of crossing over 331. And then we've seen that cycle and return from time to time as it's moved towards the east. I felt I saw just a little bit of a drop as it crossed over 83. There you'll see towards Center Ridge, but obviously you're getting into the noise a little bit there. So it's not the most useful product right now, but I think we can also say with our own eyeballs that we also kind of witnessed the same thing and can get confirmation of that tornado on the ground.
that's what it looks like to me, that it was producing that tornado when it crossed 331 before it even got over to 83 there. Now, this is that debris detector. If you remember from 1 week ago, we were using that same product. Remember, it's called debris detector because that's primarily what we use it for, is to be able to see, because raindrops have a uniformity, like as far as what they are. And so raindrops are typically, 1 on the scale. But as you drop down from 1, that's indicating irregularities as far as what it looks like. So last week, we were using this product to detect sleet, the ice pellets from sleet. But we also can use it, in this case, to also pick up debris. So as things are hoisted in the air, the radar beam bounces off of it. It obviously knows what rain looks like, but it's hitting something. It's like, this definitely is not a raindrop. you know, and there should only be raindrops up there in the sky. And that's how we're able to kind of figure it out. But that's looks pretty nasty right now. Again, this is
Yes.
this is going to pass north of Ponce de Leon, it looks like.
Two things that I want to point out here, Chris, that are jumping out at me at the moment. Obviously, we're still tracking that tornado warning right now, and I'm starting to get that sneeze feeling returning here. I've been sick all week. You have your rotation here. This is just in between 83 and 81, 5 to 6 miles just northeast of Defuniak Springs. You're also going to notice, though, for folks watching here who might be out of the clear for the tornado, there's a pretty decent swath of strong winds heading down 90 at the moment. Probably misses Defuniak Springs, although it'll be breezy there, but some pretty strong thunderstorm winds, straight line winds, also on the south side of this tornado warned cell, heading towards Ponce de Leon here. And that'll be something to keep an eye out for here too as we get through the next 10 minutes or so. You'll see that little swath of green that just pushed through Defuniak Springs, and there's definitely going to be in along 90 there, a pretty good gust of wind as well. I'm seeing some positive trends with the actual rotation here. We're becoming a little more linear with that shear at the moment. I just highlighted it in yellow. You might be able to see that a little bit better with the blue color here. So we could see this rotation broadening out just a bit, but as Chris mentioned, when you looked at just the raw data from the radar, it did look pretty nasty there, right where that couplet was formed with the green and red colors where you had the rotating winds present. So at the moment, this storm still looks pretty potent, even if we're not necessarily seeing at this time a whole lot of debris being shown like we saw earlier. So were you trying to switch a camera over there, Chris?
I just wanted to take a quick look at Destin because the storm is about ready to cross over. Yeah, it's about ready to cross over Destin right now. Now, we do not have a warning out for this, but it's still going to be obviously really nasty here as the storm comes across the East Pass there and moves into Destin. You can see the winds obviously blowing real strong, and you can't even see really the other side of the Marlar Bridge right now. So that's what it looks like currently over into Destin. Not a severe thunderstorm warned cell, but still nasty. There's lightning in there. There's heavy rainfall. But we could go back up to the tornado warning. Obviously, that's of more importance. But I just wanted to kind of take a look there for a second since we have a camera at that location.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of a cell merger here about to happen, but you still see the greens and the reds here, of course, are what we're watching for. That tornado warned cell. And now if you get down here, we're getting in close towards Highway 81. So you're just seeing this atop of Line Road right now. 81 is another mile or so to go. This is moving pretty quickly towards the east, or just north of east, about 30 miles per hour. White Road, Horse Barn Road as you get Tick Hill and Bounds Crossing, Tram Road as well. If you're anywhere in those areas, you're going to want to find a safe place away from the windows in the interior part of your home and just wait this out for 10 to 15 minutes. Right now, I'm not necessarily confident like I was a few moments ago that it's still on the ground, but we're seeing that sort of behavior today with quick spit-ups. At any moment in time, something that was producing earlier could try to do it again.
There was somebody earlier in the chat, and I meant to respond or just at least say, she was asking about Point Baker, which is like north of Milton. You're fine. That's the worst of the weather's past of you. So your wind's northwest. You're still seeing rain, but severe weather threat. I can't remember whose name it was, but they asked about Point Baker, which is north of Milton, and you're fine that far out.
I'm going to go blow my nose. I'll be back.
Okay. So what we could do is we're going to zoom out on this and look at the cell, which is now moving from getting ready to cross over Highway 81 just north of Defuniak Springs. And as we widen out, you can see over here is Caryville and the Choctawhatchee River right there. Now, I was looking at velocity data here just a second ago, and it definitely looks like, as Dan was mentioning, it's kind of broadening out just a little bit as far as maybe more of a straight line wind threat with that line as it moves off toward the east, just north of 90 and approaching 81 just north of Defuniak Spring, or 81 just north of Ponce de Leon. There you can see, so there's our rotation detector, again, showing the shear, but notice again, it's more of a straight line, whereas earlier we were looking at, there's kind of a curvature to it just a little bit ago. So we could go back and we can watch as that line moved across 331, we had the tornado warning, and then we just had the update. And again, this was a confirmed tornado. We're not 100% sure if it's producing one now. I have my doubts that it is, but the threat is still the same. As we talked about, whether it's a EF 0 or 1 tornado, or whether it's these straight line winds, it's going to rearrange things just as efficiently. So still, I would hunker down if I'm in Ponce de Leon or north there in up into Holmes County along 81, as that line now is moving across northern Holmes County. If you're up in Esto, go ahead and get to your safe place right now. As a matter of fact, just north of Esto, Dan, there's another tornado. It looks like, hold on. Yeah, there's a tornado warning that they just issued north of Esto. So it's technically in Alabama. It doesn't include Esto.
I'm not sure we're not pop in just yet, but hopefully we grab it here in a second. Richie just commented and said his parents are right there at 81 and 181 Hickory Hill. It was pouring with lots of wind, probably going to be rain wrapped, and that is a great point that is being brought up here by Richie. Most of what you're going to see today is going to be hard to see. Basically, You're going to see that squall line first, the skies will darken, a lot of rain, and just behind the leading edge of that rainfall is where we're seeing all of the rotation both into southern Alabama and across the Panhandle too. So if you're outside like trying to catch a glimpse of something, you're probably not going to see it until it's on your doorstep. So it's not even worth the effort in this case. I also realized that my location needs to be changed. I saw some folks asking why I was still in Kentucky, but we'll get that fixed in just a second. Your tornado warnings just popped up there as well, Chris, that you were talking about south of Dothan, just northeast of Esto. So there's another embedded cell in the storm. And this is why we were talking about a slight risk today, and that tornado watch was issued. Many of them will last 5 to 10 minutes. We saw that one probably for 5 to 7 minutes over 331 and just east, but we'll have to continue to keep an eye on this sort of behavior. I know a lot of folks are asking about their towns. At least until 4 o'clock, 4:30, this is going to be the sort of expectation that you need to be aware of for your neighborhood until we see a weakening trend in this line as a whole.
So they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning basically for the whole line. That's this entire line that is now goes from Destin all the way up to just west of Esto in Holmes County now has a severe thunderstorm warning. Now within that line, north of Esto, southern Alabama, there's a tornado warning for just southwest of Dothan up here. And then we still have, so it's right up just south of the Hartford community, and you can see there it is just passing north of Esto. I mean, when I say just passing north, like within like a mile. That line is moving through. I would hunker down for sure, even if even if there's a tornado just north of you, the wind is going to be just screaming through Esto along that line, and that's going to be the threat for this whole line that extends all the way down through Ponce de Leon. We still technically have the tornado warning there, confirmed tornado. That goes for another 14 minutes. With that, and they'll probably let that ride even if it's not producing a tornado right now, because it could spin it back up. But also I think the wind threat from it is pretty intense right now. So yeah, so there's some, as far as the shear within that, there's a pretty intense amount. So again, Rounds Crossing, Bayou Crossing, Ponce de Leon, go ahead and get to your safe place right now. That's Tram Road, Red Road, North Highway 181, Cypress Road off to the right there. Just to kind of give you an idea, there's 81. So it's just passed over 81. So if you're west of 81, you're okay. If you're east of 81, go ahead and get to your safe place now.
Okay, a few updates that I want to throw out here is I did zoom back in on the tornado warned cell. That's obviously kind of the talk of the moment because it was confirmed to be producing beforehand, and now this is kind of a first for us using this new system with this new business, Panhandle Weather. I've seen kind of the extreme color showing up here on the shear, so this is a real meaningful, powerful little cell here. Regardless of whether or not it's producing rotation, it definitely does look like it's going to be producing some extremely strong winds, again, through Tram Road, north of Bayou Crossing, east of 81. A couple of folks asking about the weather radios going off. Obviously, that's going to be something you hear a little bit now this afternoon because the National Weather Service has chosen to do kind of a blanket severe thunderstorm warning ahead of this line from the Florida, Alabama line all the way down to the coast. So everybody now has advanced warning of a severe thunderstorm as this line moves through. And then the other question was about not getting alert for this tornado, Chris. I know with our app, if you're not actually inside of that red polygon or downstream of it, at least east of it in this case, you're probably not going to get an alert, even if you live in the county the tornado warning is for.
Yes.
Weather radios, they can be a little bit different. If you're in Bay County and a tornado warning were issued for Fountain and you're in PCB, it might still go off.
Yes.
But as far as our app goes, if you're not inside the polygon, it's probably not going to go off.
And
Latest radar scan just came in here, and it definitely looks a little bit better, Chris.
And you have to allow for location services when you set up the app. You know, do you want it to track you? And, you know, the reason why is not because, like, we want to track you. It's because of that they want to know, by knowing where you are, they can give you more precise alerts. So based on your location. You can manually enter locations and you'll still get alerts, but it's always nice, especially if you're traveling around, that you might not have. You might not be at mom's house or work or school where you've set up these alert locations. You know, you might be out traveling, and that's the benefit if you allow it to know where you are. But this is now...
I have alerts for Crestview and Milton just to wake me up so I can get to work.
Yes. So you can see, Walton County, as far as the tornado warning, that part of it has been cut off. Man. And if you're in Esto, we had someone a second ago said it's getting dark in Esto. If I were in Esto, I'd be in my safe place right now.
Just to be safe.
Just to be safe. Now, I think the tornado is north of you, but like the line is very impressive as it's moving.
Yeah, you still have all of this wind. That's straight line wind that's moving through Esto and Graceville right now, and that'll be something that you see into Malone as well. We're still seeing some extreme returns here from the shear tracker, Chris, into now southwest Holmes County. More of a straight line wind presentation, but I wouldn't be surprised to see another tornado warning kind of extended along I-10 through Ponce de Leon, Bonifay, and potentially over towards Chipley too, just as an advance warning if this cell were to continue to be something that were problematic.
Yeah, I would, if I were in Caryville, like, get to your safe place right now. You are not in a tornado warning per se, but you have, look at that. No, go back over to the reflectivity, Dan, and look at there's a little bit of a notch just like on the top side of that squall line as it's moving through. I was looking at it on the radar app in front of me here, but if we look over, Caryville is right here, and it was right down through here. It was right there. Sorry, oops, I messed that up.
That's all right.
Here, I can. So it's right there is where I would be watching real carefully for maybe another spin up as it moves off to the east.
Yeah, One of the things that you kind of look for as you look at reflectivity, folks, is like just because, or obviously we have that sort of notching here, but it almost looks like we're starting to build like a hook, Chris, with a little
Yes.
bit of an inflow notch out on the northwestern side of that. So this has gone from um, an embedded kind of rotating piece of this line to almost looking little more like quasi supercell like, where we
Yes.
have the classic structure of something capable of producing a tornado. So Caryville for sure. I mean, regardless of whether or not there's a tornado, you've got extreme shear just a few hundred feet above your head. That could produce a very damaging wind gust at any moment. That'll be a spot. Caryville, Bonifay as well. Anywhere along I-10. We'll get a closer zoom here on some of the roads. Just get into Westville, Hawkins Street, St. Mary's Road, Old Spanish Trail. As you get into Wilcox Crossing Road, Sandpath Road, New Effort Church Road, all of those locations, I think, just given the presentation of the radar and the shear over your heads, is probably worth at this time. Just getting into the bathtub, getting away from the windows, and hunkering down for 15, 20 minutes just to be on the super safe side, even though there's not currently a tornado warning in your neighborhood.
Yeah, and that also includes obviously Westville here, which is just just on there. So that did they? Is that? Yep, that's
They
a new.
just did.
Yeah, new tornado warning. So that's what we were talking about. It also, so it includes Chipley and Bonifay. So I need for you to get into your safe places as well. Basically traveling right along 90 is where this possible tornado is, across just north of I-10 and up along 90 there.
And there's a ton of comments coming in asking about certain towns, Chris.
Okay.
I can't quite get to them all, but if we put out that storm timing graphic yesterday, which was kind of a hypothetical, like 25-mile-per-hour storm motion, we're much closer to 35 right now, which probably means that the extent of severe weather may be a little further towards the east. Mariana probably a little closer to 3 than maybe 3:30 or 4. And then as you get down through parts of Bay County, we're looking a little earlier now for arrival time too. Obviously, you still have time to wait and watch with us here, but just keep that in mind. As it gets to you earlier, there's still more potential energy and juice to work with, as opposed to it arriving in, say, Mexico Beach or Port St. Joe or Weewa after sunset with a little bit lower thunderstorm energy. So that'll be something to keep in mind. The good news is it means we'll be done with this a little earlier on in the day too, so you can get back to regularly scheduled activities like football tonight. I'm sure many folks are planning on that, but we definitely need to be weather aware given some of the stuff we've seen so far this afternoon with this line of storms.
Let's see. I wanted to show here. There we go. So this is high at 79, I-10 at 79. The I-10 there looking off to the west. So these folks here are kind of driving right now. They're in, well, this is Bonifay. So they're driving toward, just a nasty cell there. So I just want to kind of keep an eye on what's going on. There we go. Now it's moving. Look at how windy it is right now. Like this is the camera there at 79. And these folks here are driving into a tornado warned cell. So that's, less than ideal right now. Hopefully they pull off to the side, because that's not a good situation.
Yeah, I want to get back to the radar here really quickly, because we definitely still have that strong notch presentation here on the reflectivity. Some folks were asking about the Funiac Springs. You're into the thick of things now with the heavy rainfall, and the straight line winds are still kind of ongoing, but the tornado threat appears to have shifted east, at least that specific cell we were watching. I want to zoom in right over Westville. So we're just west of Caryville, and right now this is kind of a classic sort of presentation or structure for us to see a thunderstorm produce down here on the Gulf Coast. You have your inflow there of some dry air slotting in. Your tornado could be basically here, here, or here if it were to produce. And if we switch products over to our shear rate right now, you'll see that kind of riding right in between 90 and I-10. So in Caryville, this is kind of your last call to get in a safe location. Bonifay, you have another 5 to 10 minutes, but still, you want to get moving here pretty quickly, as this is probably passed just south of Westville. But I wouldn't be surprised if some folks might have heard some of the wind picking up, Chris, because obviously the straight line winds wrapped around this potential cell are still pretty strong too. No longer a confirmed tornado warning, I believe. The latest warning they issued went back to radar indicated, but obviously at any moment in time, this could be another quick spin up that produces down towards the ground. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Am I frozen here on the screen? Can you guys see me?
You are frozen.
I will get that fixed.
A possible tornado. Carry. I'm sorry, I'm posting just something really. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so right now, Caryville, the storm is moving through you right now. You can see the shear there that Dan was talking about. As you go here on the back side, Westville, the storm has now moved east of you. But as we look at live Doppler radar, we bring it back over here. We can widen it out. You can obviously see it's still raining heavily, but as far as the tornado threat, that right now is, we'll do it in blue, is primarily right here. That's that notch that Dan was talking about. So we have a possible tornado right now moving right across the Choctawhatchee River near Caryville and passing along, I think it's 183 there, that is just on the east side there. So it's, let's see, Wrights Creek Road, Old Spanish Trail, Old Bonifay Road, all need to seek shelter right now as a possible tornado is moving just north of your location. Publish now. Perfect. Okay, so let's widen out the picture here and we'll get another look at it because it's now passing east of Caryville. And again, this tornado warning, let's kind of zoom out and we'll get a little bit better perspective as to what's going on. Now this warning here, that was the predecessor that was flashing, and that's will disappear here in just a second because that was for the tornado warning that was issued until 2 o'clock. So we continue now with just this one tornado warning. And again, this is over near Caryville and it's passing along 90. So again, if you're in Bonifay, you have a possible tornado moving toward your location. So right along 90 there and 79, go ahead and seek shelter right now. Lowest interior room of your home, a hallway, a bathroom, a closet is going to be the safest place for you to get. This same cell has had the history of producing verified tornadoes back over when it was crossing just north of Defuniak Springs. So it has a history definitely of producing it. Now, regardless, across Northwest Florida, this whole line that extends from just about now Jackson County, from Graceville all the way through Santa Rosa Beach, has the potential to produce damaging winds. So I don't want you to think that just because we're talking about this tornado warning here, that you don't have any threats down through Red Bay, Santa Rosa Beach, South Walton, or even into Vernon, because the whole line is going to be capable of producing winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, damaging wind, as this line continues to move east around 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, and I want to point out that the cell kind of moving through Freeport at the moment is producing some of the most prolific lightning we've seen so far. I don't want to step away from the current tornado warnings for more than a minute, but you'll notice that cell near Freeport is ramping up with lightning activities, pretty strong updrafts there. and that one looks likely to be a wind producer moving across 331 down through South Walton. Let us know if you're seeing some of the winds picking up within the thunderstorm as well. Severe thunderstorm warnings stretch all throughout South Walton into Washington counties, parts of Bay County as well. For this part of the line, which right now is producing a pretty noisy thunderstorm with straight line winds. Now, obviously, the focus at the moment is up towards kind of on the tornado warning itself. So I'll pull you back in here, and hopefully it doesn't freeze this time, because we're still keeping an eye on this cell that's moving along I-10 and 90 towards Bonifay and Chipley. It's not a confirmed tornado this time, so that warning's expired. This time it's radar indicated, but it could produce, like we saw, at any given moment, and they'll be quick when that happens, not lasting for too long. So it's important to be kind of hunkered down just in case, because these quick spin-ups embedded in lines of thunderstorms are certainly a lot more unpredictable than, say, a supercell that you'd track as an individual thunderstorm. Let's check out the shear rate product once again. You still have kind of two distinct areas at the moment, and they're kind of wishy-washy around as this thing tries to organize once again. Now south of I-10, I'll circle it for you here. That's the spot where you're seeing a little bit more shear present, and that's moving generally eastward about 30 miles per hour. So you're going to see it up towards, over towards the east here as it moves towards 79, it looks like, and then as it crosses over, trying to remember the road name, that goes kind of from 79 over towards Chipley, because it'll be there in about 8 minutes as this continues along I-10. It's south of I-10 now, but still going to be something that's worth hunkering down for in Holmes County and northern Washington County as well. Another cell just north of the Florida-Alabama line. This one south of Dothan remains tornado warned. It's just past north of Graceville. It's north of Malone, heading towards Cottonwood at the moment. I want to keep a close eye on that one too, though, in case we were to see anything cycle a little further south within this line of storms, and then it becomes more of a Jackson County problem. So that's going to be one to keep attention on for as we get through the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. We'll switch back to the radar here, Chris, and let's check out just like the generic wind presentation, because obviously we're seeing two different spots, seeing two different types of hazards right now. If you get north, you get into the dynamics for kind of tornadoes and that sort of hazard closer towards the coast. It's more straight line wind at the moment, and we're seeing that pick up probably through Santa Rosa Beach right now, and then over towards your house in Inlet Beach in maybe 15 minutes. It's moving at about 35 miles per hour.
So I was just looking at some of the cameras that south of Bonifay, because you're right about where the higher shear is now south, moving more south of I-10. But I was going to try and pull up, look at the camera there at Ed Walleen Beach Access, because the squall line is about ready to cross over that camera, it looks like. We'll see. That one can be a little tricky because I think it's cellular, because it doesn't have wired internet into it. So it can be a little sluggish, so we'll see if it comes up. But that's that line right through there. And again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for all of that, and that goes until 3 o'clock. So it still has another hour. This is just a very broad brush. That doesn't mean you'll see severe weather for the next hour, but it just means that, like, you know, probably it's going to take about an hour till 3 o'clock for it to make its way into Mariana and the eastern part of this line. Basically, like right along the 231 corridor is going to be, you know, where you're looking for it to be in the next hour. Let's see. And we'll pull up show video. This is a look right now of, this is up in Bonifay at 79 is where we are right now. So this is 79 looking west down I-10. Oh, there we go. Let's bring it back up. Why is it? Let's see. Okay, we'll just leave it like this. But you can see traffic's moving okay. This is looking to the west. You can see the trees really blowing around. The camera's getting bounced around a good bit. But again, this is a tornado warning cell that's moving pretty much right now. The higher shear is just south of I-10, but still, this is going to be a camera that we want to pay close attention to see what's going on there in as you make your way up through northern Washington, Holmes counties there along the I-10 90 corridor to Chipley and Bonifay, because you do have a tornado warning right now for parts of Washington and Holmes counties. And that was the other thing here, we'll hop back out of this here because I see Dan showing power outages. We're trying to pull up power outages so y'all can see those, which we have obviously power outages from this line that moved through 800 in Okaloosa County, 600 people in Walton County, and then 6,500 people up in Geneva County in Alabama.
Yeah, I've just been keeping an eye on that. I wouldn't be surprised if a few more folks might be losing power from this system as it moves through the Wiregrass region, Chris. There's some pretty prolific storms up there right now. And everybody wants to know about Bay County. I think we still have another 45 minutes to 60 minutes before it's in towards like the heart of PCB, Chris. There we go. I've got my connection back. So we still have some time to wait it out as you get into Bay County and a good chunk of Washington County too. It's where this cell on the northern side of this line has kind of raced forward along I-10. That'll be the focal point for now until we see perhaps the National Weather Service kind of have a little more to talk about as far as severe action with the southern part of this line. Right now, nothing severe really presenting itself within that region. There is still a kind of precautionary severe thunderstorm warning in place, mainly for wind as this moves towards coastal locations. Right now, you'll see a couple of spots just offshore moving towards Inlet Beach with some pretty strong winds at altitude that could get filtered down towards the ground. But I think we need to keep our main focus right now on that tornado warning until it expires, because again, this one was producing earlier on, and several times here this afternoon, it has produced some pretty impressive visuals here. Right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot that looks terribly concerning, Chris, with this tornado warning cell. Obviously, we've seen it cycle down just a little bit as it remains south of I-10 at the moment. Just a little small dot there you're seeing south of I-10. I'll zoom in for you folks watching at home. And it's moderate shear at the moment. Not a whole lot that would be of major cause for concern. It's a tornado warning, of course, so you want to stay in that safe place and wait this one out here. But it's crossing over 79 right now south of Bonifay, and I do not think at this time it's producing a tornado. Obviously, that could change pretty quickly here until we ultimately see the expiration of this tornado warning. The main thing I'm seeing, to be honest, is just strong straight line winds. It might have gotten a bit breezy over through Bonifay recently. Probably not severe winds, but close to it would be my guess. And that's obviously not hard to do today when you're already seeing wind gusts of 30, 35, even up to 40 miles per hour. Thunderstorm doesn't have to do a whole lot more work to get you up above 50 and get you close to a severe level storm. That's what's happening right now through Washington, Holmes County, further south right now, Chris. I know folks are saying Freeport's getting windy, and we're seeing it here. 50 out over the Choctawhatchee Bay, 51 mile per hour winds. So it's breezy within all of these storms. That's going to be a almost definite expectation until the sun sets here later today. And we'll be watching that down towards the coast to see if any of this stuff a little further away from that kind of low-level jet we were talking about, Chris, on social media yesterday, that's pretty far to the north. So you're more favored up towards Dothan to see this activity, up into Jackson County to see this tornado activity. I think it's a lot more wind sort of stuff as you're down towards the coast.
Yeah, you can see on the monitor behind me here, this is the DOT camera there at 79. So this is in Bonifay. For whatever,
pull that up
see, every time I try and pull it up full, it goes away, and I don't understand why, but I guess
I'll pull it up right here.
Okay. Well, if you're able to do that, that's great. But yeah, I mean, that camera's rocking and rolling right now. Now, cars are still moving along okay. Obviously, I'm not seeing a tornado or anything like that on there, but that's what we're looking at is that line moving through Bonifay right now. So you're kind of under the gun, so to speak, when it comes to the threat of severe weather. Now, let me go ahead and bring it. While Dan's working on bringing up that, I will go ahead and we'll pull up the radar here. There we go. And you see the worst of the weather now is moving through right along 30A. We'll bring it back over to reflectivity data. So just east of Highway 331 through 30A, right now, kind of right along and east of 331 through Freeport. And that's going to be moving over towards, say, like the Red Bay area. And then the line extends up through now parts of Holmes County, as well as over into Washington County, and then up towards Graceville. So right now, the worst of the weather is in Bonifay, but hunker down in Chipley. Again, you still technically have a tornado-warned cell right now that's moving toward the Chipley area. So maybe hunker down and get into your safe place. I'm not convinced that it's producing anything right now, a tornado, but still, nonetheless, there is still some shear in here. And if we go back over the past hour, we can kind of look at that product as it looks like right now the highest shear is just at and south of I-10, about ready to pass south of Chipley. Okay.
Just how windy it is. This is 79 towards Bonifay at the intersection of I-10. And that camera is absolutely whipping around at the moment as the peak of the straight line winds come through kind of on the backside of where we saw that rotation. It's barely hanging on here, Chris, as you look kind of westward down I-10. And there's looks like a lot of stuff blowing across the road here pretty quickly too. So this is unreal footage of what's happening out there on the road. If I were in one of those box trucks, I would feel pretty unsettled, even going well below 50 miles per hour looking at this wind.
So the worst of the weather is about ready to pass over my house. So fingers crossed we keep everything running here. But I was going to see I can probably pull up the security cameras outside and see if we can kind of see anything. This is looking off to the east, but you could see there on the map that Dan was showing you that there was definitely like shear, like approaching the coast, even down along like my neck of the woods, just offshore. And that is, that's over the Choctawhatchee River that you have pulled up there, right?
So I'm trying to find this little spot of rotation here as we get, let's get the radar back up for you folks as we watch this little area within that tornado warning polygon that remains south of I-10. It's now heading over towards 277. That's right. That heads up towards Chipley there. And you'll see that continue to kind of slide just south of I-10 towards the east. This is going through Washington County at the moment, north of Brock Cross Road. It'll be heading across Piney Grove Road, 277, of course. Peel Road is right there. I've driven through this area several times, and there's a decent number of houses, Chris, as you get in between some of these roads over towards 77. So if you're watching us from one of those locations, be sure to be in your safe place for another 10 minutes or so. It's 2:16 right now, so I think maybe 2:30 we'll be able to give you the all clear from this rotation, although obviously it does look like there's still a decent punch of wind in behind this area that we've been tracking for rotation, so you might not necessarily be able to go immediately back to normally scheduled activities because this kind of line of storms is broadening out, Chris. It's not consolidated in that area anymore. You have the leading edge of it producing rotation. That's right over here where you get all these little notches that are trying to spin. But then, of course, in behind that, it looks like we have a decent shot of winds that are causing all sorts of problems in along I-10, and obviously that was the shot we were showing you
Hey.
of the camera shaking around.
You can see, right, I have if on AirPlay here. So this is my front door and looking east. So the storm's kind of coming up and over, but you can see the palm tree and then the oak trees across the street and you can hear like it's really raining hard, and obviously it's very windy right now. But this is at my location in Inlet Beach with the storms moving through South Walton right now.
So taking you back to the radar here, we're looking through kind of Bonifay at the moment, nearly a 65-mile-per-hour wind being sampled from the radar that is not all that far away. So this is likely close to what you're experiencing down on the ground. This is just 20 or so miles away from our radar site at the moment, where we're seeing 60 to 65-mile-per-hour winds within this severe thunderstorm warning. Obviously, a tornado warning there as well. Further towards the south, you're seeing slightly calmer wind speeds. Let's get over towards Freeport for a sample along 331. Still 58 miles per hour as you get close to the radar site itself. I think we're still able to sample close to 50 miles per hour there too. You see 55, 58. So some pretty impressive straight line winds all embedded within this line of thunderstorms. And then obviously we're not seeing a whole lot as far as rotation is concerned. Now looking southwest of Chipley along Highway 277, there's still a tornado warning though, and we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on that all the way through 2:30 this afternoon. They might have to issue a little downstream one too, because this is all moving slightly quicker than anticipated. You could see that rotation just escape out the eastern side of that warning before 2:30. Probably going to continue to watch that cell over towards Mariana, Chris, through Jackson County, Grand Ridge, Sneads, perhaps even as this moves towards the east. It hasn't done a whole lot as of late, but that's been kind of the little hot spot within this squall line that's been trying to do something for at least the last hour or so. Down towards the coast, anything that really catches your eye, Chris? I know right now we're seeing the straight line winds and a lot of lightning up towards the radar site, but down towards the coast, it's probably a little quieter for you and just a bit breezy.
Yeah, it's raining heavily, but like it's, you know, and obviously it's very windy. The palm trees getting whipped around, but nothing that I'm overly concerned about right now. But still, nonetheless, it is moving through Inland Beach. Keep in mind Lake Powell, Wild Heron, Laguna Beach. Just kind of hunker down as the storm moves in. I'm not seeing necessarily anything severe right now, but we're going to watch it. It's interesting that definitely the biggest presentation of lightning right now is up around the radar site there towards Red Bay and east of 331. That's where all the lightning is, and there's really no lightning down through the southern part of the line and out into the Gulf. So South Walton, it's obviously still windy and it's raining heavily, but I'm not personally experiencing anything close to severe at my house, and we're kind of seeing the worst of the line passing over right now. Yeah, the shear product not really picking up a whole lot. Kind of right around Chipley is kind of where looks like the worst of it is, we'll say. But again, not seeing anything compared to what it was to the west. So as you look back over towards when it was over north of Defuniak Springs and then over towards like Caryville and Westville. But since that time, we've seen that amount of shear really kind of drop off quite a bit.
So we had one storm report here that might be of interest, Chris. This goes back to kind of the beginning of this tornado warning, way back in Walton County. There were some reports of trees down near Sunrise and 331 northbound, 3 miles southwest of Piney Grove in Walton County, Florida. So that kind of close to that correlation coefficient drop that we saw, where perhaps maybe some trees or debris were picked up within that. But right now, it does look like this tornado warning might be allowed to expire unless things take a significant turn in the other direction. I'm just keeping a close eye on the National Weather Service chat for that sort of information, as they, of course, are responsible for issuing and canceling these warnings in across the Panhandle. Regardless of what happens for that, though, we will continue to deal with this severe thunderstorm warning, which obviously lasts a whole lot longer. As let's see if I can just switch to this really quickly. As obviously we're still seeing some pretty good winds, mainly up towards I-10. A lot of folks still asking for individual locations, and I don't know that we're going to get to all of them here, Chris, until things kind of calm down just a bit. But towards the beaches, it looks a lot closer now already towards becoming a little disorganized, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Not completely outflow driven, but you'll notice here, let's get the lightning product off. Just look at the difference in intensity that you'll see with like this rain activity moving through where Chris is in Inlet Beach towards the west end of Panama City Beach. It's very thin. You have a little bit more of the green returns here. Maybe a quick gust of wind and a bit of a scary looking cloud before it arrives, but nothing compared to what we saw when this was at its worst up here. And you saw a big bow punch out ahead of this line of storms, producing straight line winds and, of course, the tornado as well. I'm a bit interested to see what's going on here, Chris, through Red Bay, now centering in through parts of central Washington County. I think that might be the next location.
Like, say, from Vernon through New Hope and down to Ebro would be kind of like...
I think that's the next spot.
Yeah, that's where I think, like, the worst of the weather is. Some folks just asking about, like, Freeport, you're fine. Like, we'll be able to give the all clear for Walton County here in just a minute. Like, 90% of the county's fine. It's just really along 81 there at Red Bay that we have to kind of watch as it passes over the radar. But Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa counties, you're all done with this. As a matter of fact, kind of the interesting thing, Dan, is if we come back over here and let's go back to the radar product, let's go to temperatures. And
yeah, we're already seeing them cool
like,
off.
Look at the temperatures in Pensacola. We're in the 50s, but meanwhile, we're in the mid 70s. So like a 20-degree drop, say right now from Cottondale to Pensacola, just about. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I think we'll go ahead and do an all clear for Escambia County. We could do an all clear for Santa Rosa County. Okaloosa County, pretty much completely clear, and it's just a little too premature to say it for Holmes County, but you guys are very quickly, if you live in Holmes County, to seeing pretty much all of the nasty stuff completely out of your county. And outside of some thunderstorms towards southeast corner of Walton County, things are pretty much finished there as well. So, Chris, we're seeing this kind of progress more quickly than some of the models even had it. And obviously our forecast yesterday was closer to a 25-mile-per-hour progression than 35-plus miles per hour eastward movement. It means it'll end quicker, but I also think, unfortunately, it might mean that the severe weather threat kind of lasts a little further east than I was anticipating. I thought probably by the Apalachicola River it might be done, but obviously we're already seeing up towards the Chattahoochee River through southwest Georgia, still several tornado warnings are in effect.
Look at the dew point temperatures too, Dan. 60s and 70s, and then already in, like, say, Niceville, you're in the mid 50s as that dry air comes in on the backside. And you see the wind, how the wind, it's still breezy out to the west, but you see compared to like the sustained winds, really drop off as they turn out of the northwest, as opposed to the southerly winds coming off the Gulf. Now, one kind of interesting thing, Dan, let's go to EOX, and we can...
Real quickly, too, just an update on our situation here, Chris. The tornado warning is now expired. It hasn't fully popped off of our graphic, but the tornado warning for Holmes and Washington County has expired. There's just not enough there really be worthy of continuing that warning into Jackson County. Instead, the National Weather Service has gone with a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County, Florida, with a tornado possible tag. So basically, a precursor warning to say, don't be surprised if you get a tornado warning again downstream into Mariana over towards Grand Ridge or Sneads. But right now, we're not seeing enough to put out a tornado warning. So right now, for Jackson County, including like Graceville and up towards Malone and Tuag and down towards Mariana, it's wind that you're going to be watching out for unless something were to tighten up, and then you would see another tornado warning issued. But they're all gone right now, so we're just talking about straight line wind threats here in the Panhandle for at least this current point in time.
I was looking too at that line. Do you see all the flashing tornado warnings indicating these were observed? These
Yes.
warnings had observed tornadoes. Now you have to kind of go back because I was looking at it right now. It's not as impressive as what it was because I was just kind of curious because it's just outside of our area, but it's up in like the Dothan area. But you could go back there and you could see some of that shear that prompted those tornado warnings. But those all ended up producing, somebody saw an actual tornado with them. They weren't just like, oh, there could be a tornado. And our shear product shows that really, really well. But you can definitely tell that as of the current moment, it's very likely that probably not necessarily seeing a tornado up there. But it was just thought that was interesting that not often do you get that many observed tornadoes out of those boxes. So again,
Yeah, so
that's going to drop off here in just a second. Now, bring back the radar to the latest frame here.
Yep.
Just because I don't want us to lose track of what time it is.
Yeah, I was just playing around with that there, but we're at 2:28 right now. So I think at 2:30 on the dot, they'll drop out of our system. The severe thunderstorm warning is going to be dropped off for a large chunk of southeast Alabama, too. We're going to keep it around for most of the Panhandle, but we'll lose it from Walton County, at least, here in just a few moments as well. Just a synopsis, Chris, as far as expectations, the hazards that we're talking about, primarily wind at the moment. And then, of course, lightning is almost exclusively for Washington County, which is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen with a line of thunderstorms in the Panhandle. We have nearly nothing as far as lightning is concerned towards the coast. Bay County is just quiet rainfall, and as you get north of Washington County into Holmes County, just a couple of strikes. But Washington County is just a prolific lightning producer right now.
Yes.
And that cell has been all the way back through Freeport, Niceville, Milton. It's just been that spot that wants to make all the noise happen.
Yeah.
So it's going to be noisy as it gets through Washington County.
Kara's asking about Caryville, if they're good right now, and it looks like the worst of the weather's just south and east of you. So as we look at everything, all the nasty, all the lightning, look at all the lightning there. As a matter of fact, where's our counter? There we go. 150 lightning strikes in this view. It includes a little bit up here, but almost all of it in the past 15 minutes is from Red Bay into Washington County. It looks like as we put this into motion over the past 30 minutes, you had some nasty weather move through Caryville, but it looks like now you're going to be okay in Caryville. The worst of it is going to stay south of you. But if you're in Vernon, New Hope, and down towards Ebro, right along 79 there, primarily south of Bonifay, hunker down. You don't have a tornado warning, but that line is nasty. And obviously it's state the amount of lightning that we're seeing moving across from Walton County into Washington County over near Vernon right now. So if we go, let's see, now, Okay, so you see present time, we're at 2:31, the tornado warning dropped off. So we don't have any tornado warnings right now. We have severe thunderstorm warnings for, say, Jackson County until 3:30, Washington County until 3:30, Bay County until 3 o'clock. We're now seeing some of the worst of the weather in Bay County move toward Margaritaville over there into the West Bay area. And speaking of which, if I can, here in a second, I'll see if I can't. We'll see what, I know there's a camera there in West Bay that maybe we can see what that looks like right now.
I could pull those up pretty easily if you'd like. I have it all set up over here now, so I just screen capture it. So that's the weather stem camera.
Yeah. It's like over at the landfill, actually.
Okay. I will have that up here in just a moment as we keep an eye on this radar here too. I just want to get it up here just in case we don't lose or go in black anymore.
But the southern part of the line is until 3 o'clock, including Bay County and southern Washington County. But the northern part of the line is until 3:30, and that goes all the way over includes almost all of Jackson County. As you see, there's the line right now, kind of right through there. So the worst of the weather kind of moving through Chipley now. Graceville, the worst of the weather's already passed through you. So that's now crossing 231. Get ready in Malone and Greenwood and Mariana as this storm will continue to progress off towards the east. But again, the worst of the weather right now is moving into the Vernon area. We also have, let's see. I was looking also too at the camera that they have at the Panhandle Technical College up there in Chipley. Is the kind of the worst of the line is about ready to cross over that location in Chipley right now.
Grab that one too.
So kind of the ones I would be looking at would be Wausau, Chipley, and for now, Red Bay. I'm sorry, not West Bay. So when we look at, do a storm track on that, it's moving east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. BTI is 2.3, Barron Tornado Index, so it's fairly low right now. The top, it says it's 10,600 feet. That's not the case. The reason why is because it's so close to the radar, it's not able to see the top of the thunderstorm to gauge how tall it is. But you can see as that storm continues to race off towards kind of like the east-northeast, it's going to impact Bradford at 247, Wausau 245, Alford at 257, and possibly Steel City at 258. Again, that's with this cell that's crossing over right now from Walton County and on into Washington County. So Washington County right now is seeing the worst of the weather, the most lightning, probably the highest wind threat as well. Okay, yeah, so Gary is just said, I think we had the worst pass through my home 5 miles west of Vernon. Yes.
Okay, Chris, I am geared up for you to kind of walk me through the cameras you want to see. We'll start with West Bay here, Chris. We have obviously the raindrops on the lens, and I don't know if those were birds or maybe some cardboard blowing around in the air there. The tree's not moving around all that much, so I doubt it's wind, but things are looking fairly manageable as far as conditions go right now in the western part of Bay County, right here with this weather stem cam at the landfill. kind of just a good soaking of rain, and that kind of fits in with what we were thinking about there as far as the conditions. I'm just curious to see what the wind looks like, to be honest. The radar samplings kind of tell two different stories versus the ground truth and observations that we've been getting.
Well, I mean,
check this.
you can have, obviously the wind can be elevated and not come down to the ground. So, I mean, that's the case sometimes. But that's at the landfill there, kind of steel field. This one here is.
This is the Hope School in Mariana, and look how fast the clouds are moving. So this is kind of what busted the forecast for timing today. We're about an hour early for the arrival of rain and storms in Jackson County than the forecast, but moving storms here, Chris, and little lowering of the cloud bases there too. This one will be one to keep an eye on probably 10 minutes from now.
So that's old Riverside Elementary, which I spoke to a bunch of times over the years, and then turned into the Hope School because when they opened up I think it's is it K through 8 or K through 12? I can't remember. But they opened up we'll just say they opened up the new school up there in Jackson County. But like that area, man, I tell you what, when I went there pre and post hurricane, like, cause it was in a really nice, like kind of like treed neighborhood and everything. And then like after the hurricane, obviously it was a whole different story. They lost a lot of trees there at the school, but it's the Hope School. Used to be called Riverside, pretty sure Riverside Elementary. Richard, thank you. It's a K through 8 is the new school.
So just a quick Bay County update for you folks here. We're seeing right now very quickly this rainfall is sliding through the county at the moment. And in the south part of the county, I don't really have a whole lot there, Chris, that sticks out at me as a big concern. Kind of a classic summer rain shower as far as comparison's sake and your experience with this one. As far as lightning goes, not seeing a terrible amount of that either within this, so it does look very manageable for Bay County as this slides on through. We'll continue to keep an eye on Bay County as well. We're not purposely ignoring you guys. It just looks like the coast right now is very manageable and more or less a non-event, which is good news down through Lynn Haven, Panama City, Springfield. I'll have a view of what things are like in Springfield here in about 30 minutes time. But right now, you'll get through the rain, obviously, pretty quickly. It doesn't look like a very thick line of storms either. Looking for our rainfall accumulation product here.
ECP, it's the squall line's passing over ECP. South wind at 18, gusting to 28 right now.
Yeah, so as you get in through like Grand Lagoon over towards like Hutchinson Boulevard, where that starts off of Front Beach Road, you're going to have some pretty intense rainfall rates briefly, but it's not going to last very long here. So your actual rainfall totals as you get in through the beaches and even interior parts of Bay County up through 388, Southport, down through Bayou George and along 231, it's just not going to last long enough to get you more than a few tenths of an inch of rainfall here by the looks of things, Chris, with the rainfall rates you see down to an inch an hour up towards the airport. So a very quick moving thin line of showers are going to drop through, and then temperatures will plummet quickly after as well. But for pretty much all of Bay County right now, outside of up towards Fountain, I want to keep an eye on. I'm feeling pretty good about the prospects of getting through this line of storms without any bad or severe weather.
Yeah, it's right now Washington County is kind of the worst of the weather right now. In particular, like Vernon North, I would say, like kind of between if you're traveling from Vernon and you take let's see, it is 277 as you make go from Vernon up to Chipley. That's kind of where the worst of the weather is right now. Teresa says,
a few folks are saying it's not that bad.
Okay. And no wind on 7th Street in Chipley in town. Thunder's not loud yet. So we're looking pretty good here in Margaritaville.
One of the things I want to talk about too, Chris, while things are a little quieter, this is moving through about 3-ish hours for at least the Eastern Panhandle, 3 hours earlier than I had put out last night. at about 9:30 on the Panhandle Weather Facebook page. I'm curious to see when this is all settled and we press the button to turn the live stream off if we're going to have to bump down low temperatures tomorrow morning a little closer to freezing just because of the extra 2 or 3 hours of cold air advection we're going to see.
No, that's a good point. When I was looking at it earlier, we had like upper 20s towards Pensacola, and then like maybe flirting with freezing through like 231, and then east was like still like mid to upper 30s towards Tallahassee, Apalachicola. But yeah, that's a good point. You know, with obviously the cold air is already moving in. We've seen a 20-degree drop from out in front of the line to behind the line over towards Pensacola. That looks,
Here's something popping up.
yeah.
Maybe a last gasp effort at getting some straight line winds down through 388. That's in the neighborhood I can never remember the name of. That's along like the old 388 before they built the road over towards Margaritaville.
Oh, River Camp.
River Camp.
Yeah.
Yes. So if anybody's there watching, let us know what the wind is like because at least our system here is kind of suggesting that there's a little bit out there as far as wind shear above your heads, and that of course can filter down towards the ground. Almost looks like, Chris, maybe it's some inflow into that line now. Like we might have a nice shelf cloud picture coming in. So I'm going to toss back to you and check out our Panhandle Weather app photo submissions to see if anybody's caught a glimpse of what this storm looks like coming in over the Gulf.
No, that's a good point. Let's see here. I need to train my wife on give her access to the picture stuff so she can help us out with it. Let's see. Okay.
Mike's been muted.
Right. Okay.
So
There we
this
go.
was just issued. Not a whole lot that we're kind of seeing here. I'm going to switch products though to see if we could find something that's a little more telling because it's really messy right now looking at the data here. So
Okay.
just a little shear ball that they've warned. This is up towards 77 where it meets 20 at the moment, well north of the airport,
Yeah.
south of Crystal Lake, over towards Bennett and Ecoufina. As we get in here, Point Washington, Lloyd Lane.
That's Point Washington Water Management Area. So they say it's northeastern Bay County, southeastern Washington until 3:15. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 12 miles northwest of Lynn Haven, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So 30 miles per hour. But it is associated with that line that you were talking about that's right now extending out over across the bay. Now that's elongated, so that's a wind, but not necessarily tornadic, but up there near 77 and 20.
Yeah, seems very fringe to me, but maybe precautionary tale here. As we were talking about maybe something going in the north part of Bay County, that presentation was a little bit better there, Chris. Some folks are mentioning like getting alerts for Highland Park, like over towards me. I'm going to say probably not. Severe thunderstorm warning conditions continue down through 231 over towards Lynn Haven, Southport, most of Bayou George as well. The tornado warnings north of that. We're really going to be keeping an eye here along 20 as it slides eastward. Quick motion, 30 miles per hour. So Fountain, perhaps Youngstown too, especially northern parts of Youngstown are going to be places to watch downstream over time. But real quick spin up here is I think what the National Weather Service was looking at right as it meets this intersection of
Chris,
20 and 79. You
yeah,
see that little notch there, Chris?
yeah, that's there's the gas station there right now. So it's passing right near that gas station at 20 and 79. So this is north of Bozeman School. And moving east at 30 miles per hour was, moving east at 30 miles per hour. Do a storm track on that. And it's going to bring it over near 231.
There we go. So not many town names in the system. We need to work on that sometime in the quieter times this week. But we could zoom in and pick out some roads here, of course, as this is going right over towards 77 at the moment, and then over towards 231. Probably 30 minutes time, Chris. So we'll continue to watch that northern part of Bay County. South of that, it does look like, what was the airport reporting again for winds?
It was south at 28. The last was south at 22, gusting to 32.
Okay, so there's not a whole lot of ground truth to some of those wind reports from the radar, which are scanning to 2,500 feet above the surface. But just a very little spot here where we're seeing just a small amount of inflow, and there could be multiple spots here. It looks like we got that little notch there, maybe a little action trying to happen up here, but pretty broad stuff at the moment. As you look into this area, I mean, I pulled up storm relative velocity here, Chris, and I'm not seeing really much of anything here. And this is the EVX radar. All I can think of is perhaps like, is the EVX radar not working? Is that what we're missing?
Yeah. It wouldn't be a surprise.
Because that's always a guarantee at some point.
So I was looking, I mean, I think that's the thing. I don't know if there's a single space or a single spot that is like the tornado. I mean, those several notches you pointed out, possible. Here, let me go back. Okay.
Yeah, we can.
What prompted it is when it was west of 77 and south of 20, like there was a one scan that had kind of a tight rotation, relatively speaking, there, and it was kind of moving more east briefly, so almost like more of a left mover. And I think that's what ended up prompting it, but I'm also not. It's crossing over, probably pretty close to the Bozeman School right now.
Yeah, I know I saw a few folks say that things got a little rough through the Bozeman School area. Starting to get dark in Fountain, says Casey. Let me get my tools out of the way. Things have leveled out. Rain's coming down in Wausau. There were a few power reports, Chris, as well, up into Washington County, too. But I think, we're going to have to watch right about here.
Yeah.
And right now, it's on the verge. It's likely not producing anything now, but I think that's going to be the spot. If we were to see this piece of the line cycle through and become a little tighter as far as rotation goes, that'll be the location south of 20 right now, moving towards Econfina. So I'll send it back to you, Chris, and I'm going to get that camera on deck for us for about 15 minutes from now.
Yeah, it's pretty rural up there across the northern part of the county into that Econfina area, but that's kind of like where I'd be watching, just south of 20, right there for, possible rotation. With that, tornado warning that they issued. Again, that goes until for another 23 minutes or so. It's 23 minutes until moving east at 30 until 3:15. So we still have coming up here till 3:15 is when that. And then if you look at the kind of the polygon that they've drawn there, that gets over into that 231 area, kind of giving you an idea. Susan says Cottondale still has power. Okay, that's good news. Joseph says it made it to Panama City Beach. Yes. Does Fountain need to seek shelter? As of right now, let's widen out the picture just a little bit. And so I would, if you're, say, in Fountain, which let's, there's Saunders, there's Youngstown, there's Fountain right there. So you're north of 20, and it looks like right now the possible tornado is south of 20, but that squall line is still going to be nasty when it comes on through. So I would definitely hunker down. But as far as the possible tornado, I think that's just south of 20 and should pass, obviously, south of Fountain, which is north of 20 there. Now, as we come back over EVX, and we can go instantaneous shear product. So you can see, look at that line as it's crossing the Hathaway Bridge right now. Okay, that reminds me, then let's pull up the Panama City camera. As we look across the bay, you can see the water's moving pretty good right now, but you can't even see across the bay right now. So that's that squall line that's coming across the bay. Obviously, it's dry right now, and we'll be watching those people because, they're going to wear it here in a minute. It's probably time to get going.
Sightseeing's over.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what's going on. It's 73 degrees over in Panama City. And you see the wind now is beginning to turn west at 23 miles an hour. So as the line comes through, the wind goes southwest to west, and then will turn northwest really, really quickly.
Okay, so let's try to just set the scene here again really quickly, because looks like we have probably a couple hundred new folks joining us within the last 5 minutes. We've been at this since 1. There's your line of storms right now, and I'll slide this down just a bit. We've seen the worst of the weather so far kind of up across I-10, but obviously there's a new tornado warning that was issued for basically one scan on the radar that showed some tightening of rotation through northern Bay County. That's sliding over towards Fountain and Youngstown, right along Highway 20. Meanwhile, up through Jackson County, we've seen this become a little more outflow dominant. And all that means for you is that there's not as much of a threat of seeing severe weather from this. It's the thunderstorms collapsing and kind of pushing forward. So if you're in, say, over towards Alpha, Alford, Grand Ridge, Sneeds, the primary thing you're going to be seeing here is heavy rain, at least in the short-term part of the forecast period.
Did you see
tornado warning just expired?
Yes,
they just canceled that.
Yeah.
I saw that on my phone in the corner of my eye. But we're still going to have to watch, I think, for straight line winds through Wausau, into Fountain, and perhaps as this line continues eastward, where you see the deepest shades of red here popping up on the radar, those will be locations where we have the best chance of developing some of the stronger activity as far as winds and maybe a very brief tornado warning as well. So along the Apalachicola River, about an hour from now, Bluntstown, I think you could get into like Scott's Ferry, Chris, could be a spot. Definitely kind of on the fringe there with Alpha, as far as this line perhaps producing a strong wind gust outside of the wind you're already experiencing. The non-thunderstorm winds there, I'm sure, are pretty breezy as well. Further south, though, as you get in along the bays through Southport, in towards Bayou George, Lynn Haven, Panama City, Callaway, and then, of course, down through Mexico Beach and Tyndall Air Force Base, I'm not seeing anything that's going to be a significant issue for you right now. Things could change, of course, but if you look out across the Gulf, there's nothing impressive going on.
No.
So we'll have to keep that in the back of our heads as something to look for. But if we're not talking about you in the near future here, it's probably a good thing. because I think focus is going to stay along Highway 20 for at least the next 30 minutes or so. That seems to be the spot where the storms are strongest right now.
I was just looking for a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center to see. They haven't issued one, but like we're getting close to like having to decide: are we extending another tornado watch over towards like say Tallahassee? You know, because technically the tornado watch doesn't include Gadsden, Leon, Wakulla, Liberty, Franklin, or Gulf counties. So we'll have some decisions. And not we, but the Storm Prediction Center and the Weather Service will have to decide, what's going to happen with this line as it continues to move east. Do we see it, weaken, and especially down to the south, like in Gulf County, like there's nothing really impressive that far south and west.
Yeah, we just got a great point mentioned by Joseph. We just lost his message there as it scrolled down, but he mentioned that the tornado warning was canceled, but they went again with that severe thunderstorm tornado possible tag, which I think is a little more fitting for that area of storms that's moving now towards Fountain and Youngstown. Just to say, again, like, hey, don't be surprised if you see another tornado warning. Right now, we're not seeing anything that's an imminent threat, but there's obviously a decent potential there compared to anywhere else within this line of storms for a quick spin up to happen. And they are so quick, it seems like so far this afternoon, Chris. 5 minutes, a couple of radar scans, and you're back to seeing something that's likely not on the ground. So preparation is kind of important. I told my friend, he texted me earlier this afternoon, Chris. I was like, don't cancel your life today, but be within a 5-minute walk of a safe place.
Yes.
Don't get out to the beach where you don't have a backup plan. I think that's a good way to handle a sort of event like this.
Well, speaking of which, and they're gone. So that's what it looks like right now over into Panama City on the destination Panama City camera there. As the squall line is now like literally like a few feet away from reaching this camera view right now.
I'm going to take this full screen so that you can get a better view here, but this will be a good picture, I think, for expectations for our friends watching in kind of downtown Panama City, and I'm saying that including Parker, Callaway, Springfield, Lake
Millville,
Haven. But, yeah, this is a good idea of what to expect in your neighborhood because there's obviously a severe thunderstorm warning, and we're probably going to be watching for straight line winds. How strong are the straight line winds? Well, it's been kind of inconsistent because the radar's scanning above your head, not giving you a great read of what's happening on the ground until we can get an observation of what's happening on the ground from a weather sensor. So this camera view will be pretty useful for you folks to understand what might be coming just 5 to 10 minutes from now in your neck of the woods. And then when we get a view of that, we'll probably take a turn back up to the radar, check out what's happening along Highway 20 once again.
I was just also looking on radar too, that same cell that was south of 20, like just north of like near Econfina right now, Creek, is like, It looks like it's kind of cycling back up a little bit again. So we'll want to watch that as well. You can see a little bit of a notch, and then hold on, it went, let's see if we go, there's that frame. No, okay, so the last image was like, huh? And then like the new one came in and kind of goes away, but I'd keep an eye there.
Yeah, I have the Econfina camera ready to go here as well. As you see, we're going to be looking kind of away from the direction we want to be. I think this looks east as you look at the cloud motion there, but this will be a view just after we see that squall line start to move on through. As we get back to Panama City, you could see the swing starting to rattle around just a little bit more. The waves now coming on shore as that wind picks up, and we're about 90 seconds away, Chris, from seeing that rush of rain and water come on shore. As you can just see it creep towards the screen here. And we'll get that great read on what conditions are going to be like through the downtown part of Panama City.
Yep, there's the rain on the lens.
It's north of 20, west of 31, dark and windy, no rain yet, says Corey. So Corey will be keeping an eye out there in a second. And there you see those strong winds moving ashore in Panama City, Chris. Look at the camera shake there. It's been a while since I've seen it do that.
Yeah, that's not one of the that's mounted usually pretty good. It's not prone to bouncing. But, ooh. You can see the swing getting rocked pretty good too.
So Courtney was asking what the weather for Callaway would look like. It's probably going to be just about like this.
Yeah.
Pretty strong straight line winds are coming in through here as we just lost the feed there for a second. Hopefully that pops in here for us in a moment. But it does look to be frozen now, Chris. Hopefully we didn't lose power all that quickly.
No, that one is prone to connection issues. Oh, there we go. It's back. So, like, also if you're up near Deer Point Lake right now, I'd be looking up there. Is there still a weather stem camera on the?
I believe it's out of service.
Is it? Yeah, I want to say that you're right.
But I do have the Econfina camera back here now, and it is a wall of water moving on through at the moment through that region as you get west of 231. Look at the rainfall coming down there, Chris. Fortunately, any hail within the storms today so far. Knock on wood for that. But decent wind and rain is continuing to come ashore at the coast. And then, of course, inland, we're seeing some pretty solid rains there as well.
So if you're right along 231 from Fountain down into Panama City, it's kind of like about ready to move on through.
Yeah.
It's going to be really windy.
At my house.
Yeah, really windy.
1 minute.
And really rainy, but it's only going to last for like 10 minutes tops. And then it'll just be kind of light rainfall on the backside.
So picking back up here with the radar, Chris, I'm not seeing anything within this line of storms that looks like a significant notch or presentation that would suggest a rotation out there right now. Obviously, things change quickly with this sort of setup. Your shear rate product right now, you're seeing all that wind down through Bay County, and the straight line wind is strongest. It looked like just moving across the Deer Point Dam there into Bayou George. So you'll still want to take shelter probably just to at least get from the outside to the inside spots and wait this one out. It'll be quick moving through all of the Bay County area here that we're showing on radar at the moment, but still worth getting inside for it. Further towards the north, a little bit more heavy rainfall is present as you get through Mariana and down through 231. As you get through parts of Fountain here, you're about to get the rainfall, and then I know somebody was asking for it, Chris. We'll give the all clear to Chipley.
Yes, I was.
Bonifay,
That's what I was.
Holmes County.
I was waiting.
We're good to go.
I was waiting for you to stop talking to say that Chipley is good to go. We can't technically clear Washington County yet. We could clear Holmes County, I think.
Yep, we'll do that one real quickly. And I don't know that we ever did
Walton
County. So we'll give the all clear for Walton County here as well. You're good to go. We'd love for you to stick with us, but you can resume with your day as well.
There's football.
There is football. Alpha, though, not in the clear yet.
No.
Hasn't fully arrived, to be honest. We still have some time to wait there.
You're going to have to kind of get in line for a little bit. You still have the squall line to come on through.
It's about to get to Youngstown, sliding along 231 right now.
You see where that kind of bed of lightning is right now is primarily like southeastern, eastern part of Washington County, and then southwestern Jackson County is kind of where the bulk of the lightning is right now. There's no lightning currently in that line as it moves, down through like Deer Point Lake and into Panama City.
I'm not sure if you can hear that on my
Yes,
microphone. It is raining sideways in Springfield.
Wow. Yeah, I can definitely hear it.
The wind about comparable though to kind of how it's been. To be honest, it's been a very windy afternoon for me, especially considering that big open field that I have in the backyard. It's been pretty strong out of the south, and that's of course why it's raining sideways. But seems like it's already going to taper off here in just a second.
It's always
Panama City Beach, Joe said.
it's always a good leak check. Make sure the windows are sealed up properly.
Panama City Beach is pretty much all clear now as well. Still some rain to get through, but otherwise very, very manageable conditions. As you see there, Chris has the radar up next to him. All of
Yeah.
Panama City Beach, just a light rainfall continues. We'll check in with Jackson County.
Yeah, if you're west of 79, or 77, well, 79, obviously, 77. If you're west of 77, you're fine. Jackson County is a different story. You have some lightning, heavy rainfall. Not seeing anything in the way of any real shear, though, so that's good news up there. It's just going to be gusty winds. You do still have a severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 3:30. And then the one in Bay County, I guess they extend. Oh yeah, they updated it and then extended
Yes.
it to 3:45.
Yeah, that was part of the tornado possible tag. Had a mention of a power outage in Jackson County,
Ooh,
so we'll get
wow.
back up here. Hasn't popped into the system just yet, but if we zoom out, you can see some of the scale of outages that we're seeing at the moment. As we've of course had some pretty strong winds inside and outside of thunderstorms, which will be causing some problems here. Bay County is now about 2,000 without power, and that could go up as we get the next update in here. Washington County is doing much better. Walton County is still looking at about 2,500, and we haven't yet gotten the update in for Jackson County.
Wow.
It's a little delayed here within our system.
Why don't we go ahead and push that out to social?
Yep.
Do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it and drive?
I got it.
Okay.
Let me just turn off my alerts.
Okay, so, but you can see how widespread, but definitely there's a focusing color there as far as, Washington County is a little bit darker. But the entire Panhandle has at least power outages in every county, and that extends up into all of southern Alabama from Dothan all the way over to Interstate 65. Susan says the power just flickered at her house in Youngstown. In Mariana, no power here near Chipola College. So we'll see here. It usually is pretty responsive as to how quickly it pops in. So we'll see. And if you tell me West Florida Electric Co-op, I think is that who? I think that's Mariana. So we'll go to the outage center. Okay. Yep. So I can point. So I will pull up the power outages there in that area, and you can see there's a good many now up into Jackson County, down to Bluntstown. There's kind of two areas that are really kind of focused near Pioneer Road, south of Chipley. We have over 2,000 people without power. There's another one south of Bonifay and west of 79, 161 outages. North of Bonifay, 134 outages. But you could definitely see there are some pockets of outages. And then as you get over into Jackson County, primarily looks like it's south of 2, kind of maybe halfway between Graceville and Malone. There's some power outages there for West Florida Electric Co-op. So just kind of giving you an idea of where they are. But the big one is south of Chipley. There's more than 2,000 people without power currently there. And they're in Mariana FPU or FPL. So we can Let's see. FPL. We'll check out the outages on their site. Let's see, Northwest. Is it at the bottom? Yes, view map. Come on. Oh, let's see. Come on. FPL maps, Northwest.
I might dive back into the radar real quickly while
Yeah.
we get that up. It looks like at my house it's already calmed down pretty significantly. Obviously, still a decent rain hitting the window, but I don't hear the wind quite as much as we look back at the radar right now. In across a decent chunk of the Panhandle, it is mainly just rain that's sliding through Bay County at the moment. Kind of Springfield, Callaway, starting to see that initial shot of rain showers moving on through. As you look across 231, that is kind of where this line of storms is riding along, but it's very thin in nature, so your impacts are going to be fairly quick, and they don't look all that significant at this time. A few little spots that I'm seeing here just showing a small sign of some notching, but the general presentation of this is a pretty disorganized thunderstorm complex. We will have to watch right north of Youngstown here. I'll draw that arrow on screen. It does look like there's a little region of maybe inflow there within this line of thunderstorms. And then as you get north of that through Fountain and Alford, it doesn't look as significant at this time. I can pull up some of the storm relative winds, and you'll see the brightness of colors of greens and reds has dropped off pretty heavily. So we're not seeing as strong of a wind, although it's probably still going to be unsettling, maybe not a damaging wind being observed within most of this line of storms right now. Newest radar scan came in, and you're much closer to 20 or even 30 miles per hour compared to the 50 or 60 that we observed back closer to 79 and 331. Almost all of Jackson County has seen the worst of the weather slide on through. I'm still keeping a close eye out for Alpha here, and Grand Ridge and Sneads are about to see the initial beginning of the rain showers and thunderstorms, so keep us updated on what you're seeing out there. But the current radar scans do not look all that bad at this time, as we continue to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I'm looking.
There still is a severe thunderstorm warning there. And Chris, we still have that one for Bay County, Calhoun County, and parts of northeast or northwest Gulf County too. That looks more precautionary though than seeing any severe conditions out there right now.
So I was looking at the outages for FPU, Florida Public Utilities up in Marianna, and they have 302 customers without power right now. It doesn't show up on the map, but on the left side, they have the outages and how. Oh, there we go. Just updated on the map. Fantastic. So it's just on the east side of Marianna, 302 people up just south of Greenwood and Chipola Terrace there, not too far, probably not too far away from the airport up in Marianna. But anyway, that's where it is. So 302 people on the east side of Marianna currently without power. And there were a decent number that were on West Florida Electric Co-op that also had power outages as well. So that's where things stand right now. There we go.
Yeah, so I was just pointing out, Chris, on the radar, there's not a whole lot in Bay County that concerns me at this point. Obviously, we're a few notches here that I think are worth keeping an eye on, and all that is a little inflow that could be an updraft trying to develop. But overall, I think when you just look at the width of the line of storms, Chris, it's so small that I don't know it's going to be able to sustain the full life cycle of an updraft to actually produce anything tornadic right now.
Yeah, it's literally just a couple miles wide. And as a matter of fact, let's go back to our Panama City camera, maybe. Let's see. Oh, I see what you're, let's see, Panama City. And you'll be able to see the difference in that it's probably still raining, but obviously visibility's improved, a decent amount, and it's not raining anywhere near as heavily as what it was just a few moments ago. But winds are now turning northwest at 24 miles an hour, so that wind really turns quickly, and that's that cold air that will begin to move in.
Yeah, it was. It's already sprinkling in Springfield here, Chris. It came to an end that fast, so it's gonna be in and out. Like I know folks are asking about Sneed's, Alpha, Bluntstown, Scotts Ferry, all of those places. It's gonna be in and out real quickly here as this continues to move at a very rapid speed. You know, your eastward movement's anywhere between 25 and 35 miles per hour, depending on location. And you only have about 4 miles of storm to get through before it's a lighter rain shower with no wind of a significant variety. So when we talk about like hunkering down through the worst of this, it's not going to be for very long. And right now, we don't have anybody in the Panhandle that really needs to take those significant precautions.
Okay, so Storm Prediction Center did issue a mesoscale discussion about 20 minutes ago, and severe weather threat for Tornado Watch 4 continues. Lingering damaging wind and brief tornado threat should linger into early evening as the QLCS mainly moves across southern Georgia. A downstream tornado watch issuance appears unlikely. Discussion after at least a few TDSs and measured wind gusts in the past couple hours. Overall convective intensity may have peaked with the QLCS. It continues to move faster along the northern end, becoming elevated into central Georgia after progressing across the surface warm front. Mid-60s surface dew points, support of weak but adequate buoyancy for a brief tornado, have reached about 3 tiers of counties into south, southwest, south central Georgia of the Florida border. Early afternoon guidance is insisted that convection should diminish in a couple hours as it overturns the remaining corridor of mid-70 surface temperatures across southwest Georgia. The slower moving portion of the line in the Florida Panhandle should likewise wane after sunset, especially as low-level wind fields begin to subside. Okay, so they are...
We're on the downward trend.
Yes. Long story short, they're probably not going to issue another watch, and just kind of keep an eye on the line. Small severe weather threat, but not, it's not zero.
Yeah. Just an update here from a storm report that we just gotten in. There's a tree and a power line. The tree basically taking the power line down along Garden Road, 2 miles south of Kinesville, in Jackson County, Florida. So potentially one of your causes of the power outage that you were experiencing. That is on the road between Mariana and Kinesville, I think, or at least along that path, not specifically on the road. That could be one of the spots that caused power troubles. We could check and see. There is no tornado right now, Brianna. Just a tornado watch.
Yeah.
Right now, there really isn't any severe weather ongoing in the Florida Panhandle. It's pretty heavy rainfall, obviously. You get into those deeper shades of reds where it's almost like a burgundy color, and that is a solid 2+ inch per hour rainfall rate. The thing is, it rains for 5 minutes, so you're not going to pick up on some very high rainfall totals. At my house right now in Springfield along 231 near Highland Park, it is spitting outside at the moment. Might have got 1/10 of an inch of rain. I don't have a rain gauge to check, but it did not rain for very long. We still have a lot of time, though, Chris, with rainfall to get through, at least just normal rain showers. As you look back towards the western Panhandle, there still is a decent little batch of showers a little closer to the front itself that's pushing on through. Temperatures there, though, have already dropped a ton. I could pull that back up here. Folks that might not have been with us, we were showing that a little while ago. Temperatures are down across a good chunk of the Panhandle already into the 50s. As you look up across the northern part of the Panhandle, down through Walton, Okaloosa County, you're in the 50s too. Already almost into the 60s as you get into that Walton Bay County line and up towards Jackson County now, you're into the 50s too.
Yeah.
We have some 70s to work with further south. You'll see there 77, 78 degrees as you get into Calhoun and Gulf County. So that's still supportive of maybe a brief severe weather threat, especially when you have dew point temperatures in the 70s too. The problem is some of our kind of upper level support for these showers and thunderstorms are waning right now. We had a big low level jet that was set up across the southeast, and that is kind of pulling towards the north at this time. So some of the dynamics that were supportive of severe weather are more well defined through parts of Georgia and not so much in the Panhandles. You look up towards Albany right now, you have big thunderstorms, and we do still have a decent amount of thunder and lightning ongoing through northern Calhoun County. That's over towards Alpha right now, but the thunder is the worst that it'll get. I don't see much by way of severe weather as we continue to watch this line quickly progress towards the east. Look here, Alpha, the worst of it, is going to be moving through very shortly, about 15 minutes or so, and then as you get in towards like the Apalachicola River, that'll happen before, I think, 3:45, to be honest. I think that storm track might be moving just a little bit too slowly. So
like outside, and it's just like a light rain right now, but it's definitely like we're quickly moving that short sleeves are not like a good idea. Like, you know, and I went out earlier to check on the Gulf and I posted a video, and definitely it was short sleeves weather, but we're already here at my house seeing that temperature drop that, you know, if you went out to dinner right now, you in short sleeves, you'd be kind of disappointed, like, or not happy.
Jessica asked about Bluntstown. Bluntstown's probably going to be a very quick rain shower, maybe some lightning. We are seeing that kind of right in and around that area, but it's going to be quick. It's going to last a very short period of time, and we're not seeing anything of significant concern within this as far as severe weather is concerned either. Fountain is in the clear. In fact, we're very close now to putting all of Bay County in the clear. I know we still have some showers left to watch down towards Mexico Beach, but those are not even close to severe limits. So give it another 5-10 minutes, Chris, and we could put.
I don't think
we could put all of Bay County in the all clear here.
I don't think we gave. Did we give an all clear for Washington County? I think we were still like holding on to like just a tiny bit of it.
We were holding on to the bottom corner.
Yeah.
Of Washington County. But there we go. Back to football for you, Washington County. It's conference championship day.
Josh says just rain, just starting to rain and sneeze, some gusty winds. Anthony just got home in 2:31. I think it scrolled down.
Yep.
Let's see. How about Clarksville? Clarksville, you're about ready to see, I'll say, the worst of the weather. It's not, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think it's primarily going to be a little windy and very heavy rainfall for like 10 minutes, and that's it. But you can see Calhoun County, the rain is rapidly approaching. So there's Bluntstown over there. Technically, Clarksville is in the severe thunderstorm warning, but you can see there it is right along 20, about ready to move in. And you'll probably see that with the next radar scan. It'll jump over Clarksville because Cynthia says it just started pouring in Clarksville. So I'm not sure if she's in downtown Clarksville or the greater suburban Clarksville area there. But light rain in Mariana now with some thunder. Yep. Let's see, it's raining pretty hard near Cypress, just now getting thunder. So, but I don't think it's going to be all that bad in Clarksville. As we go north, you can see there's the line getting ready to move through the Willis community, Cook, Coxon, Alliance, Sink Creek, Rock Creek, Simsville. There's Cypress. You saw, right there it is. So raining pretty heavily there right now. There's a little bit of lightning in there. Mariana, the worst of the weather's done, so you're okay.
New update, Chris.
Yep.
2 updates, actually, that I have to provide here. Storm reports still trickling in, as they usually do a couple of moments after the rainfall comes to an end and people get out to assess. There's also a tree down at 2544 Douglas Pond Road that is in Jackson County, Florida as well. The tornado watch has been canceled for Bay County, Washington County, the St. Andrews Bay waterways, and a few counties in Georgia too. It's still in effect for Jackson County and parts of Liberty County. And that is it for the Florida Panhandle as far as the tornado watch is concerned. That all should expire here, I think, soon. Was that until 4 or 5 today, Chris? I can't remember.
It was 6.
6,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Well, regardless, we're going to extend east of that watch here pretty quickly.
it was, 6 o'clock Central. Because
We're now seeing that heavy rain just moving into Alpha at the moment.
yeah, someone was asking about Alpha just a little bit ago. This is it. Not doesn't look severe at all, but it's going to be heavy rain. Obviously gusty. There is some lightning in there, but I think you should be okay as it moves through.
Look at the temperature spread right now across Washington County. If you were in the northwest corner of the county with this big mess of alerts and lightning going on, northwest corner of the county, 58 degrees. Southeast corner, still 73. So the temperature drop at this point is about as quick as the rainfall is. It's going to be just probably 20 to 30 minutes, and you're going to go from spring to winter.
Yeah,
Here in the Panhandle.
that's wild. Like I said, I still have the garage door open, and it's getting a little chilly here in the garage. Someone asking about Cottondale. Cottondale, you're fine. All the nasty stuff as well east of you. Mariana's fine. Bluntstown, you're still under the gun. Clarksville, you're seeing it right now. Alpha, you're seeing it right now. Grand Ridge, you're seeing the worst of the weather right now. But again, I don't see it as being anything severe. Just lightning, heavy rain, and gusty winds, but not, I don't think, damaging levels of wind. Yeah, so we're down to, as far as the tornado watch is concerned, it's just Jackson and Calhoun counties that are left. And the lightning counter is 138 lightning strikes. Most of those are in Jackson County right now, or a lot of those are in Jackson County. Then there's some up in Georgia. Put this into motion over the past hour. And you see that line is just kind of moving kind of west to east at about 30 plus miles an hour, just kind of cruising along. Let's look at rainfall totals and where we're kind of sitting right now as far as those are concerned. And we'll pull up links full there for just a second, and let's go ahead and stop the lapse, and we'll look at accumulation, and we'll look at past 12 hours of precipitation. And so these are rainfall totals across our area, and we can go here and pixel query, and you go into northern Okaloosa County, 1.6, 0.8, Walton County, 0.9, so definitely 0.7, 0.6 in Jackson County, and there's still more rain to come. You could definitely tell that, as you got through South Walton into Bay County so far, and there's still more rain on the way, those totals are definitely lighter and definitely heavier up across the I-10 corridor. And obviously, places like Gulf County haven't seen any rainfall yet. But let's look at kind of where the rainfall situation is right now. Let's look at Pensacola, Milton. So you see the difference, Pensacola 0.4, over 1 inch in Santa Rosa County there across the northern part of the county. Folks have been asking about the possibility of black ice tonight. I really just don't see it. There are a couple different reasons why. One, it's going to stop raining before temperatures get anywhere close to freezing. Also, road temperatures are, incredibly warm. So even though like air temperatures could drop below freezing tonight, the road temperatures aren't. And so, I'm not really concerned about black ice tonight, tomorrow morning, if you're talking about work or school or anything like that. And the wind is going to be elevated, so that's going to help kind of evaporate the precipitation that might be on the roads. But we actually have, let me go ahead and pull it up here. I can pull up our road temp. Is that in it? We have that, that's in analysis mode, right? Current road?
Yeah,
or is it just,
might be.
or is it just road conditions?
We might just have road conditions. June Best just asked a fantastic question.
Oh.
Asking why some clouds are going north to south and some are going south to north at the same time. You'll often see on these severe weather days, as you can see multiple layers of clouds, those clouds will move at different directions. And when we're talking here about like wind shear and that being a factor for tornado development, that's what wind shear is. It's a change in the speed of the wind and the change that the direction of the wind is moving at different layers in the atmosphere. So if you could peek through the clouds and see different layers of clouds, actually pick up on that shear motion and the impact that that's causing. Right now, you're more than likely seeing some south to north become north to south because we're transitioning from that kind of onshore wind, all the moisture and the humidity. We had a southwesterly jet as well that was well above us in the atmosphere, looking at 5, 6, 7,000 feet. Now the clouds moving towards the south is the backside of the rainfall. That's what's bringing in the colder air across the Panhandle as well.
So Dan, I have the road temperatures pulled up right now, and you can definitely see, obviously, the road temperatures are dropping over the western Panhandle, and they're warmer to the east, and just updated right now. But we could go look at the road. Let's see, Barron Road temps.
And
graphic.
the Restored Church is asking why there's a phone call for a tornado watch and why, if it's all clear. The tornado watch technically hasn't been canceled yet by the National Weather Service. I think they're a little busy with what's going on in Georgia still, but that should happen here shortly. And it was originally issued until 6 o'clock Central Time tonight, so it's still in effect technically, but the threat of a tornado in Mariana is 0% now as the temperatures drop.
So when we look at the road temperatures there heading into tomorrow morning, you see it's the western Panhandle that could briefly see road temperatures drop down to freezing, but I think the precipitation is going to be gone. Well, it's obviously going to be done raining, but I think like the precipitation on the roads and stuff will be gone before the air temperature drops below 32 degrees. And it'll only briefly touch 32. So we're not even getting like below 32. So again, that's why. And you see even tomorrow morning across most of our area, road temperatures are going to be into the 30s, not freezing. So any precipitation left on roads, again, but I don't even expect it to be there. So that is why I don't have much concern about black ice tomorrow morning across our area. And I'm going to push this out real quick to social so the folks will have an idea.
We have a second to take a look at some of the pictures that were sent in from these storms as they moved through. I've grabbed a couple here, and this is from Cottondale. Richard sent it in at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. The storm clouds rolling through quickly. Another shot here of the very heavy rainfall from the Publix down near the Cefco from Sherry. Let me grab a better location on that. That was along 331 over towards Freeport. So it was definitely coming down in buckets there. And that's been one big observation that we've seen from just about everybody that was joining us here today. She also sent in this photo from Freeport south of the light by the Publix here. This was Sherry as well, as that storm cloud rolled in. And I think I grabbed a few more. Yeah, I just posted these on Facebook. This is over the St. Andrew Bay, just before the wind and the rain arrived. And then, of course, we had the pupper here. Let me make sure I know his name. Bailey in Jackson County. This was sent in by Justin. Was just he was eagerly awaiting the rain showers, unlike most of our fluffy friends who seem to hate the showers and thunderstorms. He didn't seem all that bothered. Or she, he didn't say, but Bailey was ready to go for today's weather action.
Yeah, somebody was asking about Weather Cat. Weather Cat's inside, although not in the studio. I think watching football.
Dawn Baker just said that the rain has arrived in Alpha. It took a little longer than I thought, but it'll come down in buckets, Dawn, for about 10 minutes, and then you'll be like, that was it. What was I waiting for? As things have definitely taken a downward trend here as of late. And just came in and heard discussion about a freeze tonight. Thought that is tomorrow night. Well, technically, yes. Tomorrow night is likely going to be the night that we are talking about, like an actual freeze. One that requires preparations and maybe even dripping faucets, depending on where you live. Tonight, spots will get down to freezing, and the northwestern panhandle might get colder than that. And one of the things that's happened today is this line of storms has moved more quickly through the panhandle than we saw on some of the modeling. Our forecast obviously called for storms to arrive in about 20 minutes from now in Jackson County, and they're already through. So we've begun that process of bringing in cooler temperatures a little earlier, and that takes the forecast from, say, 38, 39 degrees at the beaches, or 33, 34 in Jackson County, and it'll just allow us to get a little bit cooler, which puts us slightly below freezing. Now, is it the type of freeze that we need to be wrapping pipes for and dripping faucets? Probably not, but it's a precursor to the much colder air that we're going to feel tomorrow afternoon and the hard freeze that we're expecting for Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and when you, I threw up the low temperature map there for what we're expecting tomorrow morning. Also kind of talking about how, with respect to the roadways. So again, in Pensacola, it may drop into the mid-20s tonight. Again, colder to the west, warmer to the east. Road temperatures will be right around 32 degrees. And I expect all the precipitation and stuff to be evaporated from the roads. And so again, my black ice concerns are very, very low across northwest Florida. We can look at, if we bring it back over, we can look at the 7-day real quickly, as kind of Dan was talking about. 7-day, we'll do inland first. Okay, and you'll see, look at those. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, you're looking at a hard freeze, for 1, 2, 3.5, we'll say, days this week. And every night for the next 7 days will be below 32, which is just like wild. At least I think it is. And then coastal locations, you're going to drop mid-20s tomorrow night. And then after that, we'll kind of be in that, lighter freeze the rest of the week. But we'll be in the ballpark of a freeze. So basically what I would go ahead and say is go ahead and, I would just go ahead tonight after the rain or tomorrow. It'll be warmer tonight. But go ahead and take the precautions and just leave them on because you're going to need to because it's not a one night and done event. For the beaches, one night for a hard freeze and the rest should be light and manageable. But inland areas will see multiple hard freezes. So, take those precautions. Plants, bring them inside, put them in the garage, whatever you do, cover them up. But remember, if you cover them up with plastic, be careful, because even though the highs will only be in the 40s this week to near 50, that will fry your plants because it acts as a greenhouse. So, generally speaking, wait till the rain's over, and then you could put, a blanket or something like that would be probably a better choice. Or if you use plastic, you got to get it off quick.
Susan stopped by and said that blew my mailbox off the post in Cottondale, Florida, but feeling blessed. The only good news about that is I guess you could say the bills never came in the mail. Never got them.
Yeah.
I'll have to pay them.
Yeah, hopefully the mailbox had all the bills in it. I don't know where it went.
We also got this update photo, Chris. I'll switch it over on my side here. All the dogs love the rain. This is Lexi May waiting for it. So, the furry friends, I was misguided. Outside of Allison's anxious dogs, everybody else loves the showers and thunderstorms. And then I also have a report here from Joe Martin in Bonifay, who's been on the generator since a little after 1, before the rain. That's Dogwood Lakes in Bonifay. So just the non-thunderstorm winds caused some problems across the area today. Let's get that power outage update graphic in here. So it looks like we're back to normal operations across Bay County. As you look through Washington County, at least the reported outages from poweroutage.us, but about 800 without power in Jackson County is what we're seeing here. 1,500 in Walton, 500 in Okaloosa, and then Escambia, Santa Rosa County, several hundred combined outages right now. It's still showing about 150 lightning strikes within the last 15 minutes, 43 of which were positive. And you can see that here as we look at just the power outages with the lightning overlaid on top of it. It's all kind of on the backside of this line, which is now moving into Gadsden County at the moment. Quincy will probably get a pretty heavy shot of rainfall here shortly as well. Kynard's getting the rain as well. And we're seeing that really weaken as you get down towards Weewah, Chris. Mexico Beach is completely oblivious to the fact that there were storms today. There was almost nothing going on down there. Port St. Joe, Cape San Blas, Apalachicola, I think a very similar synopsis as far as impacts across the Forgotten Coast.
Yeah, this is rapidly beginning to wane. Getting a nice little shower here at the house, a good soaking rain, but you could see, look, there's still a little bit of lightning left south of Mobile. Which is pretty wild because not that temperature means that you can't see it, but if we...
Is it elevated convection with a cold wedge beneath it?
It has to be. Look, it's 55 with thunderstorms.
Yeah, but I bet the temperature at 2,000 feet is probably still close to 68.
Yeah.
I can pull that up. Give me 1 second here. I just got sent an incredible video. So.
Oh, cool.
I got to make sure what I'm seeing is what I'm seeing before I share it.
You don't want to be AI'd?
I don't want to misidentify clouds.
Oh, okay. So if you're over in Chattahoochee, you're seeing the worst of the weather right now. It is, rain and lightning. But while I say worst, it's like not anything I'd be overly concerned with. There's lightning over towards Grand Ridge and Sneads, Mariana. You are done. You're not done with the rainfall. There's more rain west of you, but there's nothing in the way of any severe weather expected. Bluntstown, you are just about there. And you see Alpha, you're done. So just like that, you're done. And then here we go, there's Bluntstown. Someone was asking about the positive and negative lightning strikes and which is which. Generally speaking, the more dangerous lightning strikes are positive lightning strikes. They come from higher up in the thunderstorm as opposed to negative, or I say more traditional lightning, I guess you could say. A lot of times when, the old saying like bolt out of the blue, what happens is it comes from the upper part of the anvil farther away, so it's out of, not nearby, and that's why they call it a bolt out of the blue. Those are typically positive. They're also the more dangerous ones, so most lightning fatalities result from positive lightning strikes, but they're also, generally speaking, not as prevalent. Like right now, we have one positive strike, 7 strikes in this view that you're looking at right now. So this is a 1-hour loop showing the rainfall moving through northwest Florida. They did, Dan, issue a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Gulf County, part of Liberty County, and eastern parts of Calhoun County.
Yeah, I'm uploading a video right now that I think will show why. And I'll let you be the judge here. I'm not really sure what I'm seeing, to be honest with you. Everything's kind of rain wrapped, but just give me one moment to give that a download. And we definitely want to play it with the sound off. So here you go, Chris. This is video from Highway 73, just south of Clarksville. And the wind was ripping here. Now, it looks to me like a real low cloud base there on the front edge of this line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that there'd be any funnel or anything like that within it. But it's about 1 minute and 30 seconds long.
I don't know if I had to guess, I mean, it doesn't look tornadic. Like, I wonder if it's just from the wind being pulled down. From higher up in the cloud, and you're kind of seeing almost like an outflow boundary or a downburst.
Yes.
I think that might be more of like a downburst.
That's kind of what it looks like with that presentation of low clouds kind of rushing towards you. There's nothing attached to cloud bases there, but it's definitely, it kind of does look downbursty to me when you see that first initial shot with the pickup in the wind there, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been just south of where we're seeing some of that lightning. So it's very possible that that's the thunderstorm collapsing here.
Look at the power lines just kind of like dancing. Yeah, it was definitely really windy though.
Some small objects getting blown around there as well. But fantastic video. Tyler Spalding sent that and said 4 folks caught it on camera. So I'll have multiple angles for us to see on social media a little bit later on.
That's awesome.
They are right in this area.
Okay. Someone asked about Mariana. Mariana's fine. The worst of the weather is push east of you. Now we're looking at the worst of the weather about ready to move into Bluntstown. And that extends down, already made its way through Kynard. It's down towards the Dead Lakes and like Scotts Ferry area, and then pushing through Mexico Beach. There is a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15 Eastern Time, 4:15 Central Time for Liberty.
It's a little misleading. It's a severe windy shower warning. There's no thunder to be found.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good time, Chris. We could say the all clear is there for Bay County as that last little edge of showers pushes into Gulf County now.
Mm-hmm.
We could do the same for Jackson County as well. I don't see anything in behind now. We're pushing this line of storms to the back edge now through Sneads, and we are back in action with normally scheduled activities there in Jackson County as this line of storms now moves across the Apalachicola River.
Yeah, someone was asking about, will they cancel school for Jackson County? I mean, I don't know why. I mean, like, I guess they could cancel it because of the cold, or if, you know, and like, you really, in the end, you'll probably just delay it, you know, because
these schools have days to burn.
Yeah, we didn't have any.
No hurricanes.
We didn't have any hurricanes. I mean, I guess. I mean, who knows? I'm not going to outguess what they do, but I mean, you will see wind chill values Tuesday morning in the teens to possibly like 11 to 12 degrees. You know, so I mean, that's pretty wild for here. Now, you know, the old man in me would tell you that my parents sent me to the bus stop, and it was minus 17 when I was a kid, and I had to walk to the bus stop and wait for the bus. So, but you know, it is what it is. Who knows? But I don't see any reason to. But if the wind chill being, you know, in the teens or sub-teens, that would be why. But as of right now, that would be the only reason why you would need to cancel anything. And that's up to them to decide what the tolerance is for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we are
but it's not
just about done at Calhoun County now.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun, though, because, like, there's no snow on the ground, and it's going to be, like, cold that you're not going to really want to be outside. So, like, if you're going to be inside, I guess, like, wouldn't you rather just be done with school? But I don't know. I guess if you don't have to make it up, then I guess you probably don't want to be in school.
Where I went to school, we did not have air conditioning, at least in high school. So you wanted as few days in June as you could get.
That's incredible.
Like, you'd pay for those snow days because it was hot.
Oh, well, I will, not to one-up you, but to one-up you is when I went to FSU, there were dorms still in the 90s that didn't have air conditioning. Could you imagine that?
Embry-Riddle had a dorm without air conditioning, and I was there in 2018.
Holy cow. Oh, talk about like...
Which was just ridiculous to think about when you see the tuition costs.
Yeah, like how would you... Like, that's wild. Like imagine, like, that's like winning the lottery in reverse. Like when you like got picked, but also Embry-Riddle's like not even big. Like, did they have more than one dorm?
Oh yeah, they had like 5 or 6. They accept everybody now.
Oh. So
back to weather.
Yeah, back to weather. Severe thunderstorm warning. Definitely looks like the more intense part is that line up into southern parts of Georgia through, that's already, well, Seminole County's done, but Decatur, Grady, Thomas, Brooks, and Lowndes are the ones that run the border there over towards Valdosta. But they just extended that, and that goes all the way up to, like Worth County, and then down I-75 there through Tiff County. So that's where we're seeing that squall line continue to progress to the east and then down to the south. Now, the presentation might not look quite as good here, but that's because we're not using, we're using the radar out of Red Bay versus Tallahassee. And in this case, you might even use the Valdosta radar, which I don't think we pull into the system.
No, we don't get that.
Yeah.
We don't get that privilege.
Yeah. So.
Yep, raining in Liberty County now, as Donna just joined in to say. We're seeing this now kind of all slide into Liberty County at this point. I'm not seeing anything on the south part of it, Chris, that shows anything of significant concern. We can go look at the storm relative velocity, and there's such little actual storm, like the rain droplets to pick up
To be
on.
able to see,
You're
yeah.
not even able to read much as far as the wind. But if you get in through like central Gulf County, you're looking at, 12 to 18 mile per hour winds. That's basically where you've been all day. So the thunderstorms, or at this point the showers, are not going to change anything as far as what you experience. It's just a wet wind versus a dry, humid one like it was through most of the day. Lightning strikes tapering off too, and they're all right up in northern Liberty County and western Gadsden County now as well. So Blountstown in the clear, as is the rest of Calhoun County, I'd say, Chris. We can pop an all clear up there in a second as we watch this now to slide over the Liberty County area, then over through Gadsden and in towards Tallahassee.
Did we give it? We could probably give a all clear for Jackson County too.
Yeah, we'll do that again. Jackson, you guys are good to get back to football instead of, like, normally the severe weather's overnight and we say go to bed, but in this case it's back to football. Same for Calhoun County.
Gene Weeks said we just got out of the rain along the river. Deborah says, praise the Lord in Blountstown. That's good news. It should be ending in Blountstown here any moment. I mean, the rain isn't a whole lot wider than the river itself.
And it's very close now to exiting, too, that original slight risk area that was put out this morning.
Mm-hmm. And that was the thinking, that eventually we would end up seeing a weakening trend as the storms made their way farther to the east. And so we kind of saw everything ramp up over, say, like Okaloosa, Walton counties, and then through like Washington County. And then, now we're starting to see that weakening trend, I think, as it makes its way east of the river. Is there a tornado near Chipley? Just joined? No. There was a tornado warning earlier near Chipley. Chipley was under a tornado warning, but nothing right now. You are done with any kind of risk of severe weather. And on scene, Jackson County, kind enough to let us know it's 7-7 Patriots. And they're on the 5-yard line.
I didn't even think the Broncos would score. Unless it was a defensive touchdown.
It is, so Denver scored first, it looks like, and Patriots scored, and now they're in the third halfway through.
And yes, Diane, Bonifay is good for the rest of the night.
Yep. As we look at power outages across our area, 800, 1,500 in Walton and 500 in Okaloosa counties, 800 in Jackson County. Walton County is kind of leading the way right now with the 1,500. Let's see, 900 Escambia, 100 Santa Rosa. So those are your power outages right now across Northwest Florida. If you go over to Baldwin County, 100 people without power there. But you notice the power outages do extend up into Alabama. And you know what I wanted to do? Let's see, location. Let's look at the southeast. I wanted to just kind of see into Mississippi from the ice storm. 10,000. I mean, just Monroe. Look at that. So that Jared Floyd, who does this covering Monroe, Louisiana, the Arklamis area.
Yep.
48,000 people without power. That's like, that has to be like
the whole town.
The whole like county.
Yeah. I have some pictures here of the ice in Nashville with, I mean, the ice was latched on in such volume to trees that you could see where the trees had snapped, and then another round of ice had attached onto like the exposed, white part of the wood. And that was, upwards of 1/4 of an inch. So it was a real bad ice storm up through western North Carolina, all the way through Nashville. Freezing rain last night just would not end with this system.
Look at Nashville, Dan. 200,000 people without power. Right. So as we look, let's look at. So when you look at, power outages across the country, you can definitely see that swath from Texas, northern Louisiana, Mississippi, up into Tennessee that saw ice. And then there's also another pocket, like kind of around Atlanta, up into northeast Georgia. These are the areas that have seen the most ice. And then all of these, southern Alabama into the Panhandle, that's all thunderstorm related power outages. But Nashville, wow. And as you get into Mississippi, so that has to be Tupelo there. Yeah. So let's see, Tupelo, 10,000, 400, 9,000. So you could just see pretty significant impacts from the ice. And the worst part is like temperatures are going to be just frigid. And so, that's obviously becomes a safety concern from hypothermia because there's no electricity to heat your home. So for our area, we continue to see a line of thunderstorms. The strongest storms right now moving into Gadsden County, northern Liberty County. As you look over into Calhoun County, we can give the all clear for Calhoun County with that line of storms crossing the Apalachicola River. So good news there for our friends in Clarksville and Kynard and back over into Bluntstown, giving them the all clear. Down into Gulf County right now, the worst of the weather is already moved through Weewa, and that's crossing over right now, crossing over the river, and then Mexico Beach are in the clear, and then Port St. Joe, you've yet to see the rain, and don't expect to see a whole lot as the southern end of this continues to just kind of limp on through from the Gulf. So there'll be a brief downpour, that's about it. The thunderstorm warning is just to your north. It goes until 4:15, so that's what, just 8 more minutes. And as of right now, we'll see. The southern part, I'm sure they won't extend. The northern part, I mean, perhaps. But you know, the stronger storms have been up into Georgia as this squall line moves through Decatur County, Grady County, and Thomas County. And there's Brooks and Lowndes. But you see how the squall line, there's the warnings. You see there's Adele and big storms moving north of Tifton. Had some really big storms that moved through Sylvester. That's in Worth County, just east of Albany. Chattahoochee, you're okay. The worst of the weather has moved through. So the Weather Service is issuing a special weather statement for extending this line. So rather than a severe thunderstorm warning, they're issuing a special weather statement, which is basically their way of saying, hey, it's going to get really windy, but probably not severe. So that will be the end of the thunderstorm warnings coming up here in 7 minutes.
I've returned with fresh AirPod batteries, Chris.
Nice.
Back in action. Things definitely windy down here.
So for those wondering, that's a soup bowl. So like when you work at the TV station, you don't get to eat at all because you're on air the whole time. But here, your wife brings you soup. And hopefully, not as many pounds on the belly as pizza. But that's... So if you saw me slurping occasionally, that's had some good chicken and rice soup, which
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Which is fantastic because it's getting cold outside now.
Yeah, it's that time of year now. This whole week is going to be
soup.
Insane.
Just every day, soup and sandwiches.
Soup. A lot of crock pot meals. And it's amazing how fast this thing winded down.
I thought we would be doing this till like 7, 8 o'clock.
But, it kind of fit into what, if you go back and compare models and talk about who won, like the Barron model did a pretty good job, that 3K model, of showing this kind of becoming outflow driven. I had said that on my Facebook page at like 10 last night, like an outflow driven line of storms. It's not quite, but that sort of idea where it's raced so far away from the front now with that rapid speed that you just don't really have a whole lot. We were already lacking the cape or that thunderstorm energy. And so if you didn't have something to really lift things up in the atmosphere like we did with the front when we started this coverage at 1 o'clock, you don't have a lot to keep these things going or sustain an updraft anywhere long enough to see severe weather. So at this point, I bet if we went here to our 3D radar, I bet we're going to find a bunch of low top showers here. Let me clean up our color table.
So,
Of course, I'm looking at EVX, so it doesn't fully line up. So there you go.
20.
You're looking at 20,000-foot showers here. With a pretty tall base there, too, you know, several thousand feet. So we're definitely seeing these wind down, and they'll continue to wind down, regardless of the fact that if I pull up my severe products here, or no, it might be under severe. I know I've seen it around here somewhere.
Which product?
Just looking for like a Cape product.
I don't. Do we have that in? Yeah, I was going to say, I know we have it there, but I don't know if it's in analysis mode.
So we're still like sitting pretty weak.
Yeah.
And you know, by 6 o'clock tonight, it's pretty much all gone.
All gone.
Jennifer said the shirt looks great, Chris. It's time for more polos at Houday.
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, we talked about it today. We needed to order a few shirts for a few folks that have been helping us out with weather coverage. So I will be calling you shortly.
And Russell, stopping by from YouTube, Chris, the snow forecast was a bit hyped for Pennsylvania, and it generally was. My mom texted me this morning. It was like, you nailed it, because I had said, 6 to 8 inches just over the river into New Jersey. And Nick Pittman, if he's still here lurking around, Nor'easter Nick, did a great job 3 days ago sniffing out the sleet and pumped the brakes on all of the madness that was this winter storm, with the 12 to 18-inch snow forecasts, 24 inches up towards the Poconos. He was like, hold on, everybody. Sleet's going to kill the totals. And that is exactly what happened.
How much did they end up getting?
Warm air will kill you.
How much did they end up getting?
7 inches from my parents' house.
Okay.
Which is a lot as of late, but it's definitely not 1993.
Yeah, but when you start throwing out foot totals, like, you better hit a foot.
Yeah. Always good. A little inside baseball for forecasting for the folks watching. It's always good to undershoot with snow. Especially here, because people are generally impressed by it. You don't want to get their hopes up and then be the guy that's talking about sleet and freezing rain when you said there would be 6 inches of snow.
So you see, there's all the wintry precipitation, and you're right. Like, I mean, well, and he talked talked about it too, that like southeastern New Jersey would end up seeing rain, like down towards Cape May. And then you have sleet, and then the northern part of the state, obviously still seeing some pretty heavy snow, and then getting into a mixy mess out there over into Long Island. You see heavy snow for Harrisburg and over into Pittsburgh.
One of the consistent things for almost everybody has been dry air. All the models were just sending moisture north, which probably should have been a red flag, with south winds sending models a whole bunch of moisture to work with for snow. Usually that Gulf moisture also comes with warm, which is why we've seen a lot of ice and those big snow totals kept shifting north and north and decreasing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like the inverse. We just ran out of moisture across parts of West Virginia into central Pennsylvania. You'll see it here in a few hours. So many factors. I hate forecasting snow. So many things to think about.
Well, I mean, yeah, like the moisture content. Is it 10 to 1? Is it 5 to 1? Is it 15 to 1?
Yeah.
Like, you can really start missing totals pretty quickly if you don't have the right baseline of what the moisture content is going to be.
3 hours of sleep could kill your snow forecast by 5 inches. Vicky just asked if the storm are over. We're just talking about random weather now. The severe weather has come to an end across the Panhandle for now. There's still a brief little severe thunderstorm warning north of Tallahassee through Gadsden and Leon County. That big lightning producer there with some straight line winds, but otherwise the Panhandle is looking okay.
But
That brings up a point, Chris. You just zoomed over to it.
yes, like I don't want you to think that like there's like still a chance you could hear thunder this evening. Clearly, with this final little batch of thunderstorms moving through. They're not severe, but like there's definitely some rain and lightning out there over south of Mobile, and that will stretch across our area possibly a little bit later on this evening. So we're not done with the rain, and we're not necessarily done with the lightning, but I think, we're pretty much done with anything that would necessitate a warning. But one of the things you can always do is download the Panhandle weather app. I can't wait to see when we check tomorrow, but we were over 15,000 downloads of our app, and I can't thank y'all enough. But we appreciate y'all sharing it with everyone and letting people know what we're up to. And the cool thing is it's really easy to watch our live stream in the app because it just plays when you open it up. And that's really handy because if there's bad weather and you have to go to your safe place, you just grab your phone and you can continue watching. You're not tethered to a TV or anything like that. It just kind of works real easy, and we appreciate y'all downloading it and sharing the live stream whenever we go live and you share it like you're watching. If you're watching us on Facebook, just hit the share button, put it on your feed as well, because it helps with the engagement and more people see it and all that kind of stuff. Because Facebook, you're prone to not see it until 3 days later, and when you're talking about tornadoes, that's not really all that helpful.
Okay, so here's what I have pulled up for you guys.
Nice.
We're back into this land. This is like what we were doing with winter weather, but dive back into the science of why we're seeing lightning, even though temperatures are in the 50s. And we've seen surface temperatures today cool a lot. So on this axis here, on the graphic you're looking at, these are temperature lines, and they go straight up to the right. So you've got your 0 degrees Celsius, 10, 20, 30 down here at the bottom. And when we started the day, this pre-severe weather red temperature line came down like that, or something in that ballpark. And it actually warmed a bit at the surface. So what you saw was a little region here where there was what we call cape, this little area between the parcel being lifted adiabatically versus the actual temperature. And this region here is what's actually the plotted thunderstorm energy that we show from time to time prior to these severe weather events. Now, the temperature at the ground has cooled a ton in this direction. When that red line moves in that direction, temperature is cooling down. So all the way through, call it 800 millibars, first 6,000 feet of the atmosphere, this is all too cold for thunderstorms. And there's nothing here that would suggest you'd get any. But you do have, from about 700 to 400 millibars, a little area of elevated cape. So what we have, Chris, are elevated thunderstorms producing lightning out over the Gulf, despite the fact that temperatures are now down into the mid 50s. And the crazy thing with it too, and this is something fun to look out for we were talking about it jokingly with this weekend's winter weather event, is you can get this sort of Cape area potential energy for thunderstorms, even with the temperatures like down here, which is thunder snow. So it's not unheard of to see this happen. You can see from time to time a sounding that looks like this. And if it cools at some level of the atmosphere, somewhat drier along these curved dry lines, you can still get some elevated lightning and thunder over some really cold temperatures. So thunder snow is the most famous example of that, but obviously we're 20 degrees too warm for that still, but this is a similar sort of atmospheric process producing what looks like a lot of lightning over the Gulf right now, even with temperatures that are what you'd think are like way too cold to hear any of the thunder.
That's fascinating. Like really cool stuff.
Almost makes me wish it was snow. Definitely snow.
Yeah. Well, temperatures in Pensacola are national temps. Let's see. So
Look at that.
58, 45, 42 in New Orleans. That's a look at temperatures, and you can see obviously the moisture. Look at the dew point temperatures just tumbling from the 70s down into the 50s and 60s. And then back to the west, 40s. Are we getting Cantrell? Are we getting any more storms? There's a chance. I mean, we'll see how this all goes. Those storms south of Mobile could move through our area. So I don't want to say that like you can't hear a thunderstorm, or see lightning.
Yeah.
It's possible, but we're not expecting any more severe weather, which is probably more of what you meant. But there's still some more rain to get through. Potentially tonight, and also a little bit more thunder and lightning.
As far as our severe line of storms, though, we're just about to wrap that up. As it kind of sputters to a sad end here over towards Tallahassee. Rainfall is going to be just about minimal through the Cape there and towards Indian Pass, Apalachicola, East Point.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of rain to really get worked up over.
What rain?
Over towards Sop Choppy, maybe some wind, but even there, I'm starting to see some real dry air winning out with this line. So we're just about at the point we can wrap things up. So the last few lightning strikes kind of trend northeast up towards Thomasville here in Georgia. Quincy getting the worst of it now, and that being just the worst rainfall rates. I don't know that we're really seeing anything by strong winds within this at the moment. I could pause this here and show you a sample of some of the winds just a few thousand feet up. And we're still really close to where they were just because of the wind before it started raining outside for today.
Hadassah, thank you so much. We appreciate it. That's what we're here for. Get you through west to east. And, we had, it'll be interesting if anyone snaps any or, if anyone knows of anyone or sees any pictures or videos, make sure to share them with us so we can see of the tornado. Because we did have, a visual confirmation of a tornado when it was in Walton County earlier this afternoon. So, if that video, hopefully is floating out there somewhere. So if you happen to see it, we would love to see it and share it with all of y'all. Hopefully not too much damage across our area. I was going to say, let's look and see if we have any
Storm report.
storm reports? So there's thunderstorm wind damage near Pleasant Hill. That was at 1:40. So that's, this is the time that the tornado was moving through that area. Another one, Piney Grove in Walton County, thunderstorm wind damage. Mariana, Kinesville, that's the one Dan mentioned a little while ago, had some thunderstorm wind damage there. And then near Star in Jackson County at 3:15, some thunderstorm wind damage. So just to kind of give you an idea of, we've seen the reports of damage across our area. And as you get up into Alabama, thunderstorm wind damage, 66 miles an hour at the Enterprise Airport. And then these are all just Baton Crossroads, Damascus, Coffee County, thunderstorm wind damage. So you can see some of the reports have come in. These are, probably not all of them, but that's what have come in so far. But right now, the only thunderstorms right now are just north of Quincy and Gadsden County. And then we still have this line moving east. And there's some gusty wind and heavy rain, but we're not expecting anything severe. You see, Weewa's in the clear. Port St. Joe, you're just about in the clear. That's kind of like the last gas moving through Mexico Beach. You're done. There's Appalach. Chattahoochee, Grand Ridge, all in the clear. Well, let's see. There's not a whole lot more to talk about. Have we done all we can do for today, Dan?
I think we've exhausted this line of storms.
Yeah.
Just about to the point where it's going to die.
But let's see. So, a couple things. I am going to get off my feet for a few minutes and see the family and watch football for a minute. But I will only do it for a few minutes because I put updates on the channel. So the updates that were playing before we started will still be playing. So you'll hear about like the storms moving through and stuff. But just give me a few minutes and I'll refresh all those, and then we'll all talk about the cold weather. So anyway, that's where things stand. So just be patient with that. And I'll get all those updates cut and send them out. But it'll all deal with obviously the cold weather. If we look at the planner this evening, you'll see dropping from the 60s down into the 50s. By 2 a.m. we're into the 40s, and then we'll be into the 30s by daybreak. But you see this evening, it definitely gets cooler, but nothing outrageous. And then as we look at, the 7-day, there you go at the coast, you'll have, as many as, basically for the next 7 days, we'll be at a tinge above or well below freezing at the coast the next 7 days. And then inland areas, we'll be in the 20s. 6 of the next 7 days. And the other day, 31 tomorrow morning. So winter's here. It's not leaving anytime soon.
not excited for the cold. That groundhog better have good news in a week or so's time. So that groundhog's gonna be seeing more than its shadow.
Oh, yeah, this is, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at some of the numbers, but like, it's always one of those things like, I don't remember it ever being this cold for this long. And then like, you know, you go dig and you're like, oh, it was like 3 years ago. But, you know, this is definitely, through next weekend, it's gonna be cold. And I think folks are gonna be pretty tired of it.
Yeah, well, we've already said that once this month. It's, I said on Facebook, like last week, 2 things that I just don't care about anymore. Hurricane season outlooks, the number of storms and all that. And I don't care about seasonal temperature forecasts anymore. It's just not relevant.
Nope. Here we are with way below average temperatures and probably through next weekend, and that gets you. And the Climate Prediction Center outlook that Dan doesn't want to hear about is below average through the first week of February as well.
Well, our 2 days of warmth, we got some severe weather. I wouldn't expect any on the horizon here anytime soon, but thanks for stopping by with us this afternoon. A very successful day. It looked like Chris, looked like we helped a lot of folks get through this one, and we'll be there for the next one too.
Absolutely, but in the meantime, I'll get some updates out here in just a little bit for the channel, and thanks for your support, thanks for downloading the app, and thanks for telling everyone about it. We appreciate it. If you're interested in advertising and have a business, give me a shout. I'd love to talk to you about Panhandle weather.